Always loved the just kind of the downtown feel and something about this area. Just for some reason, it's always spoke to me, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love to walk the streets down here. I love
Yeah.
to support other businesses, and
I feel it too that's why I got my studio down here, and I want it to be like in the center of the city too. So just like if anybody could come feel comfortable to come to to the studio.
yeah, there's a lot of commercial investment down here too.
Mhm.
Obviously, ProMedica and the sports teams being down here is a huge boost to what's going on down here. I think another thing for it too, just kind of piggyback of what you said. I think back to just hearing stories about what my parents would talk about their childhood. I mean, this is where they came.
Mhm.
My folks, grew up were born in the early 50s, in the 50s and 60s, and probably even into the 70s. I think the downtown was where you came to do stuff. If
Mm.
if you needed a winter coat, you came downtown.
Okay.
There was businesses and shops down here, and this is where everything was. And
This is GameFit HQ, building bodies, building the view. Downtown rising, new generation. We're bringing the fire to the Glass City nation. GameFit on Yogi Show. Feel the power, watch it grow. Push till it burns, then push some more. This is the headquarters. Open the door. No corporate fluff. Owner on the floor, cleaning the showers, locking the door. Bespoke training.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Yogi Show, the podcast where I have faith, I show love to my guests, and together we give hope to whoever's watching. Today, I have the honor and the privilege to sit down with Nick Tomosello.
Yeah.
Tomasello?
hey, Yogi,
All right. Are you Italian or something?
yeah, Sicilian, yes sir.
Sicilian.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're the owner and a trainer of your GameFit HQ. That's the gym where I go. I always forget the name because it's like GameFit HQ, but
Yeah.
it's just like why GameFit HQ? What is that name? Where did that name come from?
Sure. So it all kind of started with a nickname that was bestowed upon me by some older guys when I was in high school, high school basketball team. Some of the older guys, I think seniors when I was a sophomore, maybe freshman. Um, we were all kind of watching big time wrestling. This was back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and one of the guys that was real big at the time, his nickname was the Game.
Hmm.
And I think they kind of explained it to me because I asked him once. I'm a curious guy, so I asked him, why do you guys call me that? We
Hmm.
all watch wrestling, but why specifically did you choose that one for me? And they just kind of said it's just kind of like my meticulous nature, kind of the way that I do things, the way I talk, the way I move. They just kind of said they just thought the game fit for some reason, and
Okay.
so that stuck. When you get a nickname from older guys when you're younger,
Hmm.
I thought it was cool, so I
Hmm.
took it on, and everything was game from that. The game, um, and I think I've used it as like probably shouldn't say this, but my password for forever had something
Yeah.
incorporated with that. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just one of those things that stuck, and so it kind of got separated from the big time wrestling thing, and just something I took on to have its own meaning for me.
Hmm.
And then when I got into fitness, a lot of it's kind of in the way that a lot of fitness companies or brands, do use that fit is kind of because it's nice and short, it's compact,
Yeah.
but it does, convey a brand message.
Hmm.
So just kind of combining like a nickname that I'd carried with letting people know, what my business was.
Hmm.
So when I started my personal training service and my meal prep service specifically, and my coaching, my kind of like my nutrition and coaching and training, that's the type of stuff that I was doing. Just let people know, who I was and what we were doing,
Hmm.
and I thought it kind of carried like a sports moniker too, so
Yeah.
that way people could kind of identify like athleticism, training, things like that, kind of all
Hmm.
together.
No, and
And
then
then
the HQ
the
is headquarters.
headquarters, right? So because basically, my business existed remotely, around other gyms. So I trained folks
Oh.
in different gyms around the city, or I was doing, plans for people that, I maybe not even wasn't even seeing in person. So um, it was always with the vision of having a central location in
Mhm.
my own studio, my own gym. And I always thought that when I had it, headquarters would be what it was. So everything that GameFit was, the meal prep, the personal training, the gym aspect, all the
Mhm.
things. And now we have massage therapy, we have red light, we have all kinds of different things
Wow.
all in one spot. So
Yeah.
it's where all those things come together. It's the headquarters for everything
Yeah.
that is GameFit.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then why did you pick downtown?
Wow. So I don't know. I'm not real sure what it is. I've always loved it down here. When I was a kid, my dad had offices down here. He was a a regional manager for like AT&T and Ameritech and Ohio
Mhm.
Bell, in the 90s and early 2000s when I was a kid, and he would bring me down here a lot of times, especially if he had to work on a Saturday in the summer,
Mhm.
or even I guess when I was off school, he'd bring me down and he'd work, and I'd just do what boys do, just play in the empty
Yeah.
spaces in the business, and we'd walk down to get some food or whatever, and I was just always kind of enamored by downtown, um, and so I guess when I was looking for places to live, I'd kind of seen that there was some cool places downtown where they'd renovated these old buildings
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and put some cool new apartments in them, and
Yeah.
they look spectacular, and a lot of them have that old brick, and they're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
beautiful.
Like
So
this.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
exactly like this. Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I've always kind of liked the look, and I like the high ceilings, which they kind of kept those elements down
Yeah.
here. So when I was kind of in a transition phase of my life, and I was looking for a place to live, I thought moving downtown would be cool.
Mhm.
And at that time I was working long days at a gym in Maumee and a gym in Sylvania, kind of bouncing back and forth. And so I'd come back home pretty late in the evening, and
Mhm.
but every night I'd go for walks downtown, and I'm talking like rain, sleet, hail, snow. I was going for walks around, and I was peeking in, any window that I saw with commercial real estate signs,
Yeah.
and just in, kind of looking in there and envisioning, my vision of what
Yeah.
GameFit HQ would become. And so I was living down here at the time, and just I, there was no gym like I thought there should be and could be down here.
Yeah.
So you know how that is. I mean, you're a
Yeah,
guy that
yeah.
with big dreams too.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you just kind of
I
looking
do
in the
that
windows
too.
and you see everything, and you see what you would do if this was mine, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely did quite a bit of that.
That's why I'm smiling because I'm like, I feel you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can tell you do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can feel you. Keep going.
Yeah, so
Mm.
I've just always loved downtown. It's kind of hard to explain. I think there's a liveliness, in
Mhm.
a community to downtown. It's a place where, you know, obviously I'm a huge sports fan, so the Walleye and the
Mhm.
Mud Hens being down here, I think is really cool. I love that
Yeah.
the Game Fit HQ is just a block away, or just a few blocks away from both sports teams. I kind of think of what we do as kind of sports adjacent,
Mhm.
and so. Um, always loved the just kind of the downtown feel, and something about this area. Just for some reason it's always spoke to me, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love to walk the streets down here. I love
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
to support other businesses, and I think that people who gather in downtown areas, who choose to live and frequent these areas, tend to be the people that I want to be around.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's beautiful, man. That's great because I feel it too when that's why I got my studio down here and I want it to be like in the center of the city too. So just like if anybody could come feel comfortable to come to to the studio.
yeah,
Yeah, because I thought about putting this podcast some other places, but I'm like, right in the middle, and like the government's putting a lot of money downtown.
yeah.
So why not take advantage of the location?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a lot of commercial investment down here too.
Hmm.
Obviously, Promedica and the sports teams being down here is a huge boost to what's going on down here. And I think another thing for it too, just kind of piggyback of what you said. I think back to just hearing stories about what my parents would talk about their childhood. I mean, this is where they came.
Hmm.
My folks, grew up, were born in the early 50s. My dad in 1950, my mom in 1951. So sorry, mom, for telling people that, but uh, so you know, in the 50s and 60s, and probably even into the 70s, I think the downtown was where you came to do stuff. If
Mm.
if you needed a winter coat, you came downtown. There was there
Okay.
was there was businesses and shops down here, and this is where everything was. And then obviously, for whatever reason, we kind of got away from that for a little while, and there's been a
Mhm.
resurgence back to that. And
Mhm.
we don't maybe see as much of the retail business downtown yet. I think we
Yeah.
will eventually, but obviously the nightlife, the entertainment sources have moved downtown, and
Yeah.
obviously the residential economy is
It's
on a huge
booming.
upswing down
Yep.
here. So
They keep
it's cool. It's
updating.
kind of a modernized version of downtown for maybe what it used to be when my parents were kids.
Yeah, because they're updating all those buildings, even on top of your shop, on top of your gym,
Yeah,
they're updating, and then you're expanding, right?
yeah, we are.
Tell us about all of this. Like, tell us a little bit about the gym, and then about your all the new stuff that you're bringing in. You're getting new equipment, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we opened the the first edition
Hmm.
of GameFit HQ on August 31st of 2023, and we were definitely in the beginning like kind of a personal heavy training facility. We always had people coming in to let people do their own thing. Um, but we brought over myself and my head trainer Nick, who
Mhm.
worked with me at LA Fitness Esporta. We brought quite a few clients in and people that we knew from the gyms.
Mhm.
Those were most of our first clients, and then obviously when a gym opened here, like always happens, you're gonna tend to grab the people who live closest to there because for a lot of folks it is convenience, right? So
Mhm.
they want to go to the spot that's closest to where they live and work. So we had a lot of downtown people, which is what I wanted,
Mhm.
and a lot of our clients came with us too, and clients, friends, and family. Um, so obviously, the personal training is kind of like was kind of the linchpin of the business,
Mhm.
and my meal prep service, which I started because as a personal trainer, I was trying to figure out how can I separate myself from other personal trainers. How do I
Mhm.
be an elite personal trainer,
Yep.
for one. But I think that a lot of times clients ask a trainer like, hey, maybe I'm not seeing the progress that I want. What do I need to do differently? And oftentimes it is the nutrition that they're lacking. And so
Mhm.
I just kind of took it upon myself after so many of these conversations, like, what if I'm did your meal prep for you?
Mhm.
I'm very experienced. I've been doing my own for, gosh, at the time, 10 years. And I
Wow.
know we're going back years to when these conversations were happening that predated GameFit HQ.
Mhm.
So when I was a personal trainer, I just decided to start doing meal prep for my clients. So just cooking it up in my house or my apartment, taking
Mhm.
it to the gym, and that business kind of grew as word of mouth spread, and people would see me, the trainer carrying in
Mhm.
bags of food and my clients carrying them out. Like, people would
Yeah,
ask what's
yeah.
going on, and before we knew it,
Mhm.
we had quite a few people. So we had to step up and get
Scale it.
commercialized. Yeah, get licensed and do all things the way that you have to do them to scale a business, like you
Mhm.
said. So yeah, we got certified with ODA and all the things you have to do, serve safe, and all the things you need to do to be qualified as a food vendor. So
Mhm.
we went through that whole process, cooking out of a commercial kitchen and everything like that. Creating official labels that pass inspection and
Yeah.
everything under that umbrella.
With
So
all the calorie, everything like
yeah,
the
everything's got to be
macros and
transparent, all the ingredients and everything. Yeah, front
wow.
facing labels. So yeah, we kind of switched over from just like a little house operation that I was kind of
Yeah.
doing for my clients to a commercial meal prep service. Um, so yeah, back to the gym. I guess that's a big part of what we do
Yeah.
too. The personal training, the meal prep service. Um, as kind of the things that we're doing initially and we'll still be doing. Small group fitness. We do have tanning beds. We're adding red light in there.
Mhm.
The tanning thing is kind of something that's going to be a little outdated and probably for a good reason.
Mhm.
So we're still going to offer that for people that want it, but it's not going to be at the forefront of the business. It never has been, but it's just kind of one of those things. If you want to use it, it's there.
Yeah.
But we're kind of moving to the red light because I think a lot of the research that we're seeing is that there's a lot of good health benefits to doing
Yes.
that type of therapy.
Yeah.
So we already have a panel, and we're going to be installing several in those rooms so that there's actually a healthy option for some light therapy as
Yeah.
opposed to just the traditional UV ray type stuff. So
Is this hold on,
yeah,
is
please.
this an extra added on to your subscription or how does that work?
So we have done the tanning to this point as an add-on, but
Uh,
when the expansion takes place and once we switch everything over onto the new gym software, and because we're not just adding 5,000 square feet, we're changing the whole infrastructure of the
mhm.
gym to kind of match
Yeah.
the influx in clients and business that we've seen and that we anticipate.
Yeah.
So we're kind of rewriting the script top to bottom to fit the model that the gym is becoming and what it
Mhm.
certainly is going to be.
Okay.
And so with that, I've decided to just, increase my value.
Mhm.
We're going to include tanning. We're going to include red light therapy. We're going to include brand new infrared saunas that we're going to be installing in the new 5,000 square foot space that's directly connected and
Mhm.
adjacent to the current 713 location. So it's all going to be right there on the corner of between
Mhm.
right off the corner of Jefferson and Ontario back toward Erie.
Yeah.
We're going to have that whole 10,000
Oh,
square
so
foot
beautiful.
corner of commercial real estate. And we're really excited about it. We're bringing in, like I said, the infrared saunas will be added. There's going to be a 60-foot turf strip right down the middle of the gym
Mm.
with beautiful, plate loaded and pin select pieces of equipment all around it. So,
Mhm.
just to kind of run through the aesthetics, the current GameFit HQ is kind of going to operate like an old school gym. So
Okay.
we're gonna maintain all of the dumbbells and the barbells and the free weights, and we're gonna put the
Mhm.
powerlifting stuff there, and the cardio will all be on that side, and then obviously the front desk, the meal prep stuff. Even the lobby's getting a facelift. We're gonna be adding some state of the art vending machines to kind of support our 24/7 model.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna have like an AI camered kind of automatic vending machine where our
Mhm.
meals will be in there. So if people come in after hours, like I know you come in late, sometimes
Mhm.
we're not staffed, and at this point we're kind of locking up the fridge outside of staffed hours. But
Yeah.
moving forward, you're actually going to be able to just tap your card and you'll be able to pull out a meal, and then that smart system is going to know
Mhm.
exactly what you took, and that way if you needed a meal at 2 a.m., they're there for you, or
Yeah,
6
yeah.
a.m. before you head in. So we're trying to modernize our services to match what the gym model is, being a 24/7, but
Mhm.
also bring stuff to this area that no that nobody really has. And so that's one of the things that I want to do,
Yeah, I
with every
love it.
aspect of the business, from the meal prep side to just like those things, the state of the art vending machines, to the infrared saunas, to
Mhm.
the level of equipment, and I think certainly the bespoke nature of our training and our nutrition services. I think
Mhm.
all those things are pretty
Top
elite and pretty,
notch.
yeah, pretty special to the area for
Yeah,
sure.
top notch. I love when people are implementing AI and trying to figure out ways to implement into their business to grow their business instead of complaining about it. Like take the stuff that everybody else is making and figure out a way. So these the the laundromat I went to, they have that for like pop and stuff. I just can tap my card, I open it, I grab a pop and a bag of chips, and then it's in the receipt in my and so
Yeah.
it's perfect. Like that's the best way to sell things right now, and then you can just make money, you know what I mean? Instead of having that lock on there all night long. And then another thing, okay, so also were you gonna maybe up a little bit the membership, but now you have access to all of this stuff now,
Yeah.
right?
So just a slight increase. I
Yeah.
do not intend on increasing the prices much to start. It's going to be about a 10% bump, so very,
Mhm.
very slight increase. We've never increased prices at all. So,
Okay.
all my costs have went up as a business owner since we opened 3 years ago, but we've just tried to maintain
Yeah.
and pump as much value into that, because I know, for some people it's definitely one of those things where they're looking at the cost of our gym maybe versus other gyms. And
Mhm.
I think, to that, there's a nuanced conversation to be had about, like, okay, if you're going to a gym on the other side of town and gas is $4 a gallon,
Mhm.
and you're wasting 20 minutes of your time driving there and back and spending $4 a gallon, how much of that gym savings
Yeah.
did you actually give up by driving over there, for one? And I think another thing too is, like, if you really break it down and look at personal spending, but also what $50 a month means, it's less than $2 a day.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of things that all of us do and have done in the past that cost much more than $2 a
Every
day,
day.
that aren't a commitment to your health.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think there's something to be said about, like, paying a little bit more for getting a little bit more, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we provide it.
Yeah.
I think we're the cleanest gym in the area. We have the finest kit and staff and kind of service, all
Mhm.
those things together. There's a lot of great gyms in the area, and a lot of good things that are happening. But I'm proud of what we do,
Yes.
and the long days, and the meticulous nature of the way that I've cultivated every aspect of Game Fit, from our staff to, like I keep saying, the bespoke nature of our services.
Mhm.
All those things have created a value that I think is pretty special and unique
Yeah.
to this area.
There's another value that you haven't talked about, but you let content creators do their thing.
We do.
You know, a lot of people will you'll be at whatever gym and they'll say, "Hey, hey, no filming here," or "Hey, hey, hey," or but you guys breed that kind of like it's okay to bring your tripod and film your so
Yeah.
that right there makes me more comfortable because I like filming my stuff.
Yeah.
I like to make my TikToks, I like to make my stuff or
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I like to film it. But then some gyms, I feel more intimidated because nobody else is doing it. So it's like, do I put my phone here? And then I'm scared because I'm still not that. I like to do social media, but I still worried about what people are thinking. I still don't want to film the wrong person.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid people. But your gym, I feel comfortable. I've brought a tripod one time, and I've seen you with the tripod filming around,
Yeah.
and the other girls. I seen a girl with like a whole like photographer in there and stuff.
Yeah.
So it made me feel real comfortable to be able to do my social media there.
Yeah.
Is that something that you wanted to bring to
Oh,
your gym?
absolutely. And I don't know if you've been in recently enough since we did this, but I actually provide tripods now. You walk in the gym and there's, I don't even know, 8 or 10 of them. We
Oh
just
wow,
we just
yeah,
have
yeah.
propped around the gym. We encourage it. So and just to kind of assuage any concerns that people may have
Mhm.
about it. We do at the sign up policy where, when we do our onboarding with new members, we're very
Mhm.
clear about, hey, we are a content friendly gym. Um, and there's a bunch of reasons for that, and I'll kind
Mhm.
of get into that. But I think one of the things we try to make clear to people is like, if you're uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
please let a staff member know if you feel like anybody's being disrespectful or
Mhm.
invading your privacy, and we'll take care of it. We've never had an issue that's been reported, so I think
Okay.
our members, and I think the way we get out in front of it with our members has been really helpful, and just having good people in the gym too.
Mhm.
Like you breed a culture, and then I think
Yeah.
it's reciprocated back through the member base and the staff. So yeah, we definitely, let people know like, hey, this is what to expect here. We do allow this. We encourage it as a matter of
Mhm.
fact. And to be frank with you, it's because, the advent of fitness into the social media platform and vice versa.
Mhm.
People are proud of what they're doing. and
Yeah.
and a lot of people are trying to, even if they want to become a personal trainer,
Mhm.
or they're just sharing their life. I mean, it's just the way of the times, and you have to meet people where they are.
Mhm.
But in full transparency, it's good for the gym. It's free
Mhm.
marketing, it's free advertising.
Yeah.
We reshare all
Yeah, no,
appropriate
that's cool.
content back.
I
People
like
love
that too.
Yeah, I mean, people love to see themselves, and so we put it
Mhm.
up on the TVs, we put it back out there, we promote people. Everybody who's being respectful and out there just working hard and
Yeah.
sharing their story and their passion. We promote that, and
Mhm.
it, it's something that we're going to continue to do, and
Yeah, and
we're going to
some
lean into.
that's some people's jobs too, like they're
Yeah,
bodybuilders
yeah,
or that's like their
yeah.
passion. That's how they win trophies. Or you have that one room with the GameFit. I haven't been there like in a few weeks, but it seems like you've been moving things around.
We just
But
renovated it. Yeah.
but
So
you have that one room with the mirror that where people flex and
yeah,
stuff. That's
yeah.
really
So
important,
we have a dedicated posing room.
Yeah.
The only one that I'm aware of in the area. So you'll
Mhm.
see that in a lot of like pro level gyms, and so obviously we want to cater to the bread and butter of any gym. Although it is a small community, but
Mhm.
your most reliable members are going to be the people who do it for a living. So
Mhm.
we wanted to have a little something in there. It doesn't take up too much space, but just a
Yeah.
private room where they practice their posing and take videos or pictures for their coach or for their own social media, whatever it is that they want to do. But also just for your casual gym goer who wants to
Mhm.
take progress pictures, or just like, hey, this was hard for me to get to the gym today, but look at me, I got in here and I did it, and you can do it too, and we can
Yeah.
do it together or whatever. So, but yeah, we just recently redid the posing room, so we put a whole new facade backdrop.
Mhm.
Um, right there where people can so it kind of stands out more. It's got like a deep rich black paint on it, and
Mhm.
like a very cool paneling behind it, and then we put angled back mirror, so you can kind of see your
Oh, your
back and
back,
your
yeah.
front, and
Yeah, yeah, that's
we
good.
replace the lighting with some photography gimbal lighting, recessed lighting, so
Okay.
it looks fantastic in there. I
All
can't
right.
wait for you to go in and check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a a pretty high level spot to take your pictures
Yeah,
and videos now.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been trying to run outside, so I've been on this mission to just kind of get better at running. But yeah, I'm still a member. I'm
yeah,
still paying my membership.
absolutely.
So yeah, I go in and out of the gym, and then also like right now since it's so hot, I've been kind of like just I don't know lazy. The heat is kind of like a heat stroke. It's like it's really hot outside. All right, so I mean, the gym is awesome. I love that the 24-hour access, the content creation part. That's the kind of stuff that I like. I like it because it's more. It feels more private. It feels more like not everyone has access to this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because like some of those more like let's say like them other gyms like where it's like so many people go in and out, so many people go in and out. When you're actually there, you're filming your video. You're doing like it's not like 100 million people around you, so you can be more respectful. Oh, another thing, when you were saying that, like sometimes when I'm making my video, me consciously, I'm already like, if I see that it's too much pointing towards somebody, I'll just tweak it and put it
of
more on
course.
me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to put that girl back there on my video, anyways.
yeah,
My video is for me,
yeah. No,
So
no, yeah,
as long as
absolutely.
you're a good person and you're conscious with what you're doing, you're not gonna have no problems at your gym at all.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too. And
yeah.
yeah, but that's I think that as part of the onboarding process, that is what we're trying to remind people of. So whether we're speaking to the person who's going to be using the camera to let them know,
Mhm,
like, hey, try to do those things like you're talking about, where you're angling it away, or maybe even asking someone if they mind if
mhm,
they're going to be in the periphery of the shot. but also to the people who aren't going to be doing that type of stuff, and
Yeah.
just to let them know up front, like, hey, this is what we do here, and everyone is welcome at GameFit, but it's not for everyone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just to let you know, this is the type of stuff we do here.
Yep.
And no one's going to try to invade your privacy or do anything. They're probably just doing their own thing, and
Hmm.
you may
You might
get caught
walk
in a
by or
video, and if
something.
you don't like it, you're more than welcome to let a staff member know, and
Yeah.
we'll make sure that that's not your experience.
Yeah. And then, okay, tell me about how do you get in? Let's say no one's there.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 3 in the morning. I want to work out. How do I get into your gym?
Yep. So initially, we do have an online sign up. So kind of just going back to the sign up process,
Mhm.
we always ask everyone, even if we do make it available, and even if you do sign up online, that you do your first visit, you are coming in seeing a staff member, because there are certain things we need to capture with your client information, and an
Mhm.
onboarding process, like the things we're talking about,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can't convey well, through a contract,
And
like
there's
some of
like a
these
picture
things.
too. Like when
That's
you
right.
the first
Yep.
day, you got to
So
take a picture. And
that's right. Yep. So
yep.
we're making sure we get all the data we need. Making sure the birth date's correct, a phone number's correct. We like to get a license plate, or at least a
Mm,
make and model of the car, because we do offer. One of the things I always like to make sure people understand, because
mhm.
of just kind of the misunderstanding about parking downtown. Yes,
Yeah.
for some businesses that don't have parking lots, it is tough.
Mhm.
GameFit HQ has a parking lot, and we're actually securing a second location,
Oh, okay.
so we're going to have parking also right next to Rust Belt Coffee off of Ontario. So we'll have 15 more reserve spaces there. We
Mhm.
already have 15 reserve spaces in the Quick and PNC parking lot that's at the corner of Erie and Jefferson.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's going to be, over 30 parking spaces right there. Whether you're parking coming off of Ontario or
Mhm.
off of Jefferson and Erie, we're gonna have a spot for you to park. And
That's cool.
but also the street parking over there is nice, because it is a block or two away from a lot of the restaurants and stuff.
Mhm.
So there's more street parking maybe available there than there is, down toward the stadiums and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
there's lots of options for parking.
There
But
is.
so because we do issue parking passes
Mhm.
to registered members, there is a transaction that needs to happen between a staff member and a client. So
Mhm.
even if you do sign up online, we do ask that you come in and see a staff member, and we do have that onboarding process where we're
Mhm.
communicating all the things that you need to know to be a member, and so that we can make sure that you know how to use the equipment, because a lot of the equipment we have is very different than
Yeah.
equipment in other gyms.
It's
And
confusing
sure,
sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes I look at it like, even though
and
I might know a little bit, but I'm looking at it like, wow, man,
yeah,
there's different things you can take
there
off,
is.
put on, this and that.
And a lot of that's just it's just so that once you learn how to use it, more people can use the equipment, right? So
Mhm.
it's not just something that's a one size fits all. The stuff that I buy and that I put in the gym, I try to make sure that it's going to work for as many people as possible.
Mhm.
And also stuff that helps people work around injuries, things that have range inhibitors,
Mhm.
or things that are helping people move in a way that's going to be healthy for them. So
Mhm.
some of our equipment, it does look intimidating, especially if you're not someone who's been in a gyms, or you haven't seen some of this newer equipment. But
Mhm.
one of the things that absolutely comes with any membership is that one-on-one
Personal.
one-on-one, yeah, that personal walkthrough
Mhm.
with a trainer, with a staff member, and at any time, whether it's
Anytime you can ask.
whether it's your first visit or your 100th visit, we will absolutely show you how to set up the equipment, how to use it, because that's really important, that
Mhm.
you're paying for something. You need to be able to use it in the way that you want to and you need to. So
Mhm.
a big part of what we do there. But yeah, going back to what you were asking about
Yeah, yeah.
the security of the building. So
Yeah, yeah.
it is a private gym, and the doors are always locked.
Mhm.
So even at 3 in the afternoon, when there are staff there, the doors are locked. So what we have is
Mhm.
we have a scan system that operates off of our app
Mhm.
that has a QR code on it. So you walk up, you scan in, and that unlocks the strike lock on the door for a period of time, and then you're able
Mhm.
to enter in the building. So obviously it's for the security of our members and everything in the building, so that you feel secure when you're in there, and
Mhm.
that there's security for the building. But I think it's one of those things that once we show you how to use it, it's very easy to
Simple,
use,
yeah.
and it just kind of
And
increases the
in
experience.
that app, there's everything that has to do with the gym,
Yeah.
the meal planning.
Yep.
Tell me about everything that on the app.
Sure. So obviously that, like I said, that first part is kind of the check-in feature, where you're, where it's unlocking the door so you can get in. Then it's also recording your visit, so that we have that information available for our data. And then inside of there are forms that you can fill out to get help with your training, with your nutrition. There is a kind of a workout guide in there
Yeah.
where we offer some free
Everything,
workouts and
dude.
stuff, and many of which me and my staff have created. But there's also just some kind of native content to the app as
Mhm.
well. There's nutrition stuff in there, because we run the meal prep service. The meal prep order page is in there, so you can set it up to order through DoorDash, like
Mm.
um, right at that time, or you
Mhm.
can do our weekly ahead order service where you're none of the food's cooked yet, and you're determining everything that's going in your bag.
Uh,
So there's a lot of things that's on that app
yeah,
that are
yeah.
helping people, and a big part of what we're doing with kind of changing the app and the software to match the new model with the group fitness, which is a big part of the expansion. It's I would consider it the linchpin
Mhm.
of the expansion is our group fitness, where we're definitely targeting like specific sets of people who need and want that group fitness. Certain communities. We're going to put a big push toward helping midlife women
Mhm.
with that strength training that they need to stay healthy
Yeah.
into their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond. So that's a big push that we're making,
Mhm.
where we're going to offer education, nutrition services, but classes that are specifically designed for women in that age group to get together and to work out together and to help build strength and do the stuff that maybe that they haven't been doing so that they can
Mhm.
they can live long healthy lives into their older years.
Yeah.
But the new app is going to have a really nice schedule function on there so that we can accommodate as many people for these group classes.
Mhm.
So people that have credits, or if you want to just drop in, you're going to be able to buy a single token or a single pass to do a class.
Mm.
If a class is full that you want to go to, there's going to be a waiting list on there so that you can actually join the waiting list.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
someone drops off, you're
Yeah,
next in
yeah.
line. You actually get a notification. You can pop in that class. So
Yeah.
there's some really cool functions to the app that we're going to be rolling out here very soon. It's kind of an updated version to kind of accommodate the class schedule. And another thing that we do on there too, which is really cool. You can actually schedule your time in the red light therapy room or
Mhm.
the massage room or any of that type of stuff too, because we want people to be able to plan their workout and their time. If they only have an hour
Mhm.
to come to GameFit, but they want to make sure they get a red light therapy session, and they can reserve that room for the exact time that they need it, and then
Mhm.
we can make sure that they get in and do their thing, and then someone else can get in and do their thing,
Mm.
and it helps keep everything nice and organized and neat. And so that's kind of like an unusual thing that we offer on the
Yeah.
app that a lot of other gyms aren't doing. So
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. How long do you usually sit in a red light therapy bed or whatever?
I
Or
think
room or whatever?
normal exposure time is 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
You might see some people do up to 20, but I think typically,
Mm.
what's recommended is like a 10 to 15-minute session.
Yeah, and that's helping like with like eye vision, hair loss, all kinds
Yeah.
of skin.
Yeah.
Red light therapy is like all over the internet right now.
It is. And it seems like the benefits, with every new research study that's presented, there seem to be just an endless amount of benefits to doing this
Mhm.
stuff. And so, we're really excited to offer this to people. And there's difference between qualities of red light too. So like the kind of the depth of, they call it like near far um, infrared. One of the things that we did was we kind of did some research into that stuff and made sure we bought the panels that are kind of offering
Mm.
some of the more medical, what would be considered like medical grade
Yeah.
therapy, as opposed to just like you know, a, a regular red light that maybe isn't, giving you those medical type health
Yeah.
benefits that you're looking for when you're doing it. So we're going to have, some top of the line
Some
red lights in there
top-notch
for
stuff.
people. And
Yeah.
not only the red light panels that are going in those rooms, but the infrared saunas, the full spectrum infrared saunas
Mhm.
that we're going to have in the new space. Those also have red lights in them. So even when you're
Mm.
just sitting there getting your sauna session in, brother, you're going to be able to get that red light
You
therapy too.
know,
So
one thing that I always thought about, how they got the them things where you go like cold plunge?
yeah, yep.
Like, but that would be kind of weird, like to have like a cold plunge room because then I would have to get in, then you would have, wouldn't that, or how does that?
It is, that is
Have
kind of
you
one of
have you
the.
thought about cold plunge or
Absolutely,
anything?
absolutely. It may be something we do in the future. It's
Yeah,
something that I get asked about every once in a while. There's a few gyms in the area, and obviously, around the country, it's more popular in
yeah.
certain places than others. It's something that I've definitely looked into a little bit, and will
Mhm.
consider in the future. We're doing so many things with this expansion. There's
Yeah,
just only
yeah.
so much you can do well
Yeah,
in
yeah.
one shot. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
maybe that would
That
be
would be
something that's in
something
the
else.
future. But yeah, definitely something that we need to look more into and understand a little better, and to see if the demand is out there
Yeah, yeah,
for
and
it.
plus, like, you gotta figure it out because, like, it would be kinda weird if I got all, like, in a bathtub and then you're next. Like, do you really wanna get in a bathtub right after me? Like,
Sure.
I don't know, you know?
Yeah, so the
But
sanitation I'm sorry.
yeah, but what I was thinking is maybe a shower, like a big fat, like where the water just
Yeah.
like a tube of cold water,
Yeah.
and you're standing like in a almost like a graded area,
Sure.
and it's just like that tube comes and just showers you
Hey,
this cold water, and then boom,
it sounds like you might have a patent on your
like
hands,
2-3
brother.
minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm saying like that could be something that you could implement into your gym in the future
Yeah.
instead of a tub. You know what I
Instead
mean?
of the submersion
Yeah,
style,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so that's kinda one of the interesting things with it is, how do you, do the sanitation between uses and
yeah, yeah,
how much, labor goes into that, from a staffing perspective,
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
are we having to change the water out every time? And then also, when you have submersion like that, and people are getting out, then maybe you're dealing with, like, slip and fall
Yeah,
issues
water
too.
everywhere.
So, yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, I think it's gonna that's a bigger investment, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
not
yeah,
only into, financially, but just into the research to make sure that if we're gonna do it, that we do it well.
yeah, yeah,
And I just don't think we're quite ready for that yet. I think
yeah.
we'll start with the infrared saunas and the red light and get
Yeah.
people exposed to that and understanding how beneficial that stuff is.
Mhm.
And we'll see what the
Yeah,
future
little by
holds.
little. Just figure it out little by little. Yeah, I always thought about that. Another thing that I like is that outside little area that you got
Oh yeah.
where you got it's like a little patch of like like
The
turf
turf,
or
yeah, the
something.
artificial
And then you
turf,
got the what is it
the
like
going battle
but you know
ropes.
what I don't like about that is that if I go there early in the morning, I'm not allowed out there
Yeah.
because the noise and because the neighbors,
Yeah.
right? But I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna make any noise.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go out there and just be quiet.
Yeah, no, I understand, and
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
definitely thought about how maybe we can make that area more accessible. But I think just to be
Respectful.
respectful to the people who live in the building. There
Mhm.
are GameFit HQ exists, and in our new space too. There's 3 and 4 flights of residential apartments
Mm.
and lofts right above us,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that turf area kind of exists back in a little corridor where the sound definitely
Goes
cascades up, and so yeah,
you
they
gotta be
get
smart.
yeah, so we just during those hours when people are sleeping, we try to do some things around the gym to keep the noise as
Yeah.
reasonable as possible. Obviously, gyms are loud, and we've implemented some some sound dampening measures,
Mhm.
and just some of the rules we have just during those kind of
Yeah,
quiet
that's cool.
hours.
It's
We
about
do the best we can,
respect.
but we do have an indoor turf area
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to be on the
It's
new
gonna be on the
side. Yeah,
side.
60 foot long, 10 foot wide. It's gonna be absolutely gorgeous, and
Mm.
gonna be tons of room for people to do the athletic type stuff, the functional type stuff. It uses a stretching area. We'll
Mhm.
have sleds on it. So I think once that's on the new side, you're gonna get a kick out
Dude,
of
that's
that.
gonna be fun. I can't wait to go there. I always want I go there and I make videos. I'm hoping that more people that I know like start joining.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are still like, I don't know. I even seen this one girl, she's a content creator, and she was complaining about making a video like at another gym. And I was like, go to this gym. Like, no one's gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna bug you about making a video at GameFit HQ, you know? Like no like that's what I told her. Let's take a small little break real quick, and then I'm just gonna check the camera, and then I want to know a little bit about how you even became a trainer, and then how did you even get a gym? I don't even know how does someone even open a gym? Hang on one
Of course.
second. All right, we're back. One thing that I did want to mention. Okay, I have a cleaning business, right? It's called Toledo's Best Cleaning, and I clean houses every day. And I go to your gym, I work out, I take a shower, I get ready for work because I'll go in the morning before. I've been there different times, but if I go in the morning, I get ready for work there. Your showers are super clean, always, bro, every single time, and your bathrooms are super clean. And then your gym is super clean. Everyone's really respectful. They're cleaning up. Tell me a little bit about how you do all this.
Yeah. So I think a big part of running a good business, especially when you have a physical location where people are in it. If you read any reviews for any type of business like that, whether it's a restaurant or a stadium or a hotel,
Mhm.
anything like that, where people are using a shared space, it's one of the first things that you'll see that is either complimented or it's spoken poorly about is going to be the cleanliness. And
Yeah.
to me, like, it's the easiest thing in the world because all you have to do is work hard. Anybody
Yeah.
can clean. I mean, that as a
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
who cleans, like,
Yeah.
anybody can learn how to do it and anybody can do it and you just
Mhm.
have to do it. So, I mean, as a business owner, part of my job is cleaning toilets, brother,
Yeah,
multiple times a day,
yeah.
cleaning showers, like taking out trash, picking up other stuff that, and so it is something where we established a culture of, what we think is the standard,
Mhm.
and not even what we think, it is the
Yeah,
standard. We
yeah,
set the standard,
yeah.
right? And so this is a place where we respect ourselves, we respect our fellow gym members, and we respect the gym that we're all sharing. And so
Mhm.
whether that's wiping down equipment, re-racking weights is a big one at
Yeah.
our gym. You see a lot of gyms,
Yeah, you make
people
videos
just,
about that and everything.
oh, we sure do. Cause I mean, and it's something like I keep saying we're going to lean heavier into it. I mean, the things that make GameFit HQ is the culture,
Mhm.
and I think the kindness and respect. And so I never see it as like, I don't see it as disciplinary or like we're trying to come at anybody. A lot of times people just forget, and that's
Mhm.
okay. And so we'll remind somebody like, hey, this is what we do here,
Yeah.
and please be a part of that with us. Um, I think when you approach people respectfully about it and remind people and show them like, hey, no, I'll do it for you, but
Mhm.
let's do it together.
Yeah.
That it becomes, it becomes like, okay, this is a thing that we all do to help each other out. And again, like I said, people are busy, they're trying to get their workout in quick. I think most of the time when things don't get done like that, it is just a matter of like, they forgot because they're trying to
Mhm.
rush on to their next exercise because they got to get home and do whatever else it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, that's why there are rules and why we do remind each other of like, hey, this is not just your space, it's our space,
Mhm.
and we're all using this together. And so let's all do our little part to make this a great place. And
Mhm.
um, there's something about, I think most people can, I imagine that most people would agree that like that feeling you get after you clean your house or your apartment or your car,
Mhm.
you feel just kind of like a load comes off of you, right? And
Yeah.
so when things are clean and orderly, it allows you to do everything else that you need to do. It feels less burdensome,
Yeah.
and you just feel more free and aligned. And there's a sense of accomplishment too that
Mhm.
comes from that. And so, you know, if the gym is clean, it allows you to start your work off on the right foot. And
Mhm.
and if you leave it clean for the next person, then the same thing for them and so on down the line.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those simple things that we can all just do a little bit of work, and we can keep this place super clean and super nice and
Mhm.
and orderly, and so that everybody can have the same experience every time they come.
Yeah. And we have to always take account all these like weird sicknesses that are coming up from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like just that now there's like some crazy diarrhea, before the pandemic, all this stuff. So we got to take an account that we're leaving germs every time we're touching things, and we can't leave all that stuff for the next person.
No, you're so right. And so
Yeah.
one of the things that we've done just this week, there's a new style of kind of wet wipes that we're switching to. So we still have, the paper towels and the
The
spray
spray.
all around, but we actually now have, and in the new space, we're gonna have even more of them. I think we put 6 new ones in the current 713, and they'll be everywhere you turn. They're gonna be in the new space too. So they're actually pre-wetted wipes, and these actually do a better job of coverage. They get more of the
Mhm.
sanitation, disinfectant onto the surfaces, and they stay there longer, so they kill more of those germs and
Okay.
bacterias and things like that. So we're doing everything we can to provide the stuff like that to the members.
Mhm.
And obviously, as you've seen and spoken about, the staff, myself and my staff are constantly cleaning the place, but
Mhm.
with our members, having access to these wipes and everything and wiping everything down, hopefully we can make sure that Game Fit HQ is not a
Yeah.
place where people are getting sick, and it's a place where you're actually getting healthy. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So
And we can, and us as members, we can do our part. If we go to the bathroom and we make a mess, clean up after
yeah,
ourselves.
of course.
Make sure you pick up the toilet paper. Make sure you clean whatever mess that you make, and like leave it like the way you got it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Treat it
even
like it's
leave
your
it,
grandma's
or
house.
leave it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I am, because I have a cleaning business. So if I go to the bathroom and let's say like you're pulling the toilet paper and a couple little like pieces fall, before you leave, pick that up, clean up after yourself. That's always my mentality.
It's so easy to get away from that, lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle.
Mhm.
That is a behavior pattern that once you develop it,
Yeah.
if you commit to it, you can stick to it. You can be a
Mhm.
person like, I can't leave that room without leaving that
Mhm.
mess that I left behind, because just speaking specifically about the way it operates in a gym, there's we have rules, right? And,
Mhm.
obviously I don't have cameras in the bathroom. So that's kind of a place where, if somebody does go in there and
Yeah,
leaves a mess or whatever, for whatever reason, whether it was a mistake or, hopefully
purposely.
no one's ever doing it purposely,
Mhm.
but for whatever reason, if there was a mess left and made, um, it's just like, yeah, there's a chance that a staff member may be the next person that goes in there, but more than likely not, especially
Mhm.
if it happens during non-staffed hours. And then you're leaving that mess for somebody else who
Yeah,
paid the
yeah,
same amount as you did to use the space. And it just doesn't make any sense, brother. So we're
yeah.
just going right back to that, to establishing that, that pattern of behavior where,
Mhm.
not only are you being respectful to yourself and to the person that uses it and the
Mhm.
space that you're in, but there's something that comes from committing to those small behaviors
Yeah.
that allow you to be a more complete person, in my opinion, right?
Yes, sir.
Like if you're willing to do those extra little things when nobody sees it,
Mhm.
then you're gonna do those extra little things all throughout your life. And that could mean holding a door for an older person,
Mhm.
complimenting someone when just by chance when they're having a bad day,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, you're doing those types of behaviors that are
Mhm.
that are healthy, and they're just humane behaviors.
Yeah.
And so
That
it's just nice to, if you do them when no one's looking, you're going to do them when people are looking, and then
Mhm.
maybe somebody else will see that and decide that they're going to do the same thing, and we
Yeah.
can just have a better community as humans.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I think that you grew up with those like some very good morals, it seems like. And also the the dedication you have to everything you do is really like amazing and outstanding. Just from me, like looking from the outside into your life, just like the discipline and like everything that you've built. It's just like it's like it takes a like really like strong, like dedicated person to do all this. What I want to know is a little bit like where did you grow up? How did you become this person that's like so like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just seem like a very good dude, like a very dedicated person to your stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, where did you grow up at?
Yeah, thanks so much for those
Yeah.
kind words. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. Yeah, very very lucky. My parents couldn't hit I hit the lottery, right? So
Mm,
just great parents, had a great childhood. Um, just, they never spoke bad about people.
mm,
There there weren't drugs and alcohol in the house, and so we were lucky in that way. But even
yeah.
just the little things that I never heard my mom or my dad like say a derogatory word, whether it be cultural or racial or making fun of the way someone looks. Like that just
Mm,
didn't exist.
wow.
And so I think sometimes it's not only the things that you do here, but it's the things that you don't see and hear
Mhm,
that establish behaviors. And so very lucky. Not everyone gets that opportunity.
mhm,
And so I always, when I think about like who I've become or who I want to become, because
mhm,
let's face it, like however the nice things you said, I appreciate that, and I
mhm.
hope that they're all true, but I hope to be even better tomorrow
Yes,
and the
sir.
next day, right?
Yep.
So I think coming up in a good home with a good family, I was very very blessed. I
Mhm.
think that's where it all started.
Yeah, and then you were born here, Toledo?
Yeah, so my folks kind of grew up in the Toledo area. My mom kind of in the Oregon area.
Okay, yeah.
I think they grew up off in Nevada.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Back when that was
East
kind of,
side.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Back,
Oh,
like I
wow.
said, in the 50s and 60s, when kind of neighborhoods around the city were a little different. My dad grew up
Mhm,
in Maumee, went to Maumee High School. My mother went to Whitney and then into nursing school. And my
mhm,
dad went right into learning his profession in the communications business right out of school and then
mhm,
into the service. But yeah, my folks were from Toledo, and then they moved they moved out to the country to have some land and some stuff.
mhm,
But even though we lived rurally, about 30-35 miles into Henry County,
mhm,
outside of the city area, they drove into town
mhm,
and they worked here my whole childhood, and even still into into my college years and adult life.
mm,
They were in Toledo, so we were always in town. When
okay.
when your folks are going into the city, you're going with them as a kid.
Yeah,
So I spent a lot of time in the city as a kid,
okay.
at family members' houses, but also just because of where my parents were working and traveling.
So you
So
had ties to Toledo your whole
yeah,
life.
grew up rurally, but I spent a lot of time in the city, so I had a good balance of both types of
And
communities.
growing up out there, did you guys have like farm life? Like did you like do things out there? What kind of life did you have out there?
Yeah, so not traditional farming like
Okay.
raising crops, but we were surrounded by crops. So
Hmm.
soybean fields, um, cornfields.
Corn,
That's
yeah.
what that. So my folks have like a wooded area, so they live in
Oh, okay.
in a woods in a log home out
Oh,
there in the
that's probably
country,
fun.
right by the creek. Oh, it was great. Like I said,
Yeah.
very blessed childhood. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to do. My dad actually heated our house my whole life and still does with firewood.
Oh,
So
wow.
from the time I was young, we went out to the from the age I could do anything,
Mhm,
picking up firewood, splitting firewood, carrying it in the house, or stacking it for the winter. So
mhm.
that was a big part of childhood, was doing that type of work
How about
to heat the house.
hunting and that kind of stuff? Did you get it?
Wasn't a big part of my life, but
No.
obviously that is a big thing out in that area.
Oh,
Folks
yeah,
do
yeah.
that stuff. That wasn't something that I grew up doing
Okay.
much of,
I was
but
just wondering because you
a little
said
bit of fishing
woods.
and stuff. Yeah,
Well, fishing, you like
yeah.
fishing?
We just we just spent we were
Outside.
outside.
Yeah, yeah.
We were outside. We definitely there's definitely coming up in the late '80s and the '90s. There was definitely
And you
video
have
games and
brothers and
stuff. But
sisters?
three sisters.
Oh, three
Yeah,
sisters. You're
yeah,
the only brother?
yeah.
Oh, wow,
Yep.
okay.
So I have one younger sister and two older.
Oh, okay. So you're the baby brother. Not the
Yeah.
baby brother, but everybody probably looked at you like the baby brother.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, being the only boy, it's definitely
Yeah.
a different element, I think it was something that probably has a lot to do with, who I became too. I think,
Yeah.
having 3 sisters, so
Absolutely.
it was another blessing.
Yeah, it is a blessing because then you actually can like learn so much from being around so many women.
Yeah.
And then your dad, did you help your dad work? You said you used to come downtown
Mhm.
and play in the buildings and stuff like
Yeah.
that when your dad was doing what phones back
Yeah,
then?
yeah, a lot of it was phone work that he was doing at the
Phone.
time. Yeah, he worked for the phone companies and kind of, that was kind of in the early internet days, and so some of those businesses were expanding into other services. But
Mhm,
yeah, a lot of the stuff he was doing was telecommunications installations and stuff like that, and he was on the managerial side.
mhm.
When I was like getting a little bit older, he was a technician early in his career, and then transitioned more into the managerial side. But yeah, so he'd bring we the funny thing is I have this vivid memory of going to the Ohio Bell building, which is
Yeah,
right across from where the gym is. And
yeah,
it's just so funny how that came full circle. I remember
yeah.
like a specific day back in the early '90s. He was working on some whatever his was on his agenda for the day, and
Mhm,
I was in the copy room. I was probably like 10, 11 years old, and I was like, a big sports fan, so I was obsessed with the NBA when I was a little boy, and
mhm.
I would draw pictures of all my favorite players. And then I was on this copy machine, and he walked in after leaving me alone for like a couple hours, and I had like hundreds of papers of copies everywhere. And I remember him being like, "I think that's enough copies for today," and kind of
Yeah.
shutting it down on me. But I was just having a blast in there, drawing pictures and making copies and stuff like that. And then we went down to Ted's Hamburger on the corner of
Oh, yeah,
Monroe
yeah.
and Erie, and got a burger when that place was still open.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a real fond memory. And now my gym is on that same block, brother.
Wow, dude,
It's
it's
so crazy. It
crazy.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like a full circle moment.
it
That's
is.
awesome. I always say I wish that little burger spot would be open.
Yeah, me
Like I
too.
wish somebody would just buy it and make a I even made an AI picture of it, like all nice,
Yeah,
and I put it out there. But they said that the owners won't sell because the parking lot or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah. It's a
whatever.
great location
For
for
the
the parking,
parking. Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, yeah, obviously not to they can do with it what they want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It belongs to them. But it would be really cool if that was like a late night burger and shake
Yeah,
spot,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
like
sweet.
a smash burger and some good
Yeah.
fries and a
I
milkshake
mean, because
spot.
at
Wouldn't that
one
be cool?
point it used to be thriving,
Yeah,
and then people would go there all and eat all the time. But like, if it's not open, it's never going to succeed.
yeah. Do you remember going down there as a kid?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember going down there. Me and my dad would go down there and stuff and eat when we were kids. I remember that. My dad was always downtown too. That's the thing. A lot of people, some people were scared to go downtown. I'm like, why?
yeah,
I even had one guy. He's like, I don't come downtown too much because But I'm like, downtown might be the cleanest part of Toledo to come to.
sure.
And like, there's not even like I walk through downtown. No one's asking me for money.
Mhm.
No one's bugging me. Everybody leaves me alone.
Yeah,
I film my videos downtown. I have fun.
yeah.
Like I think it's a great
Me too. I
atmosphere.
agree. And there's a stigma that, being downtown people and business owners that we do kind of face an uphill battle around some of those stigmas. And so it's something that I talk about a little bit, and I intend to talk a lot more about it as we promote the gym to folks who are going to be, coming our way from the suburbs and the other
Mhm.
parts of the city. I guess number one, how easy it is to get down here. I mean, there are thoroughways off of, the trail, off
Mhm.
Anthony Wayne Trail, off of 75. It is super convenient and easy to get down here. And
Yeah.
and as I said earlier, when you come to GameFit HQ, there's so much parking that's available, and you get a reserved parking pass that comes with your membership. So,
Mhm.
and it's safe down here. We have, police officers, we have judges, attorneys who are members, because a lot of those folks live and work, maybe not, they not live, but they work downtown.
Mhm.
And so there's, we're 2 blocks away from one of the largest police
Yeah,
precincts.
yeah.
We're 3 blocks away from the courthouse, the government center. So yeah, I always feel pretty safe. And of course, just like any urban area, there are going to be, some homeless people. And,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously the Cherry Street Mission is just block or two away. Um, so there's always folks that are less fortunate than us, but
Mhm.
you know we've never felt unsafe, and we've never had an issue with anything going on.
Mhm.
But I think, treating those people with kindness and respect,
Yeah, yeah.
is it can be, a humbling sense of, maybe where you're at too.
Mhm.
And it is a small part of
Yeah.
downtown life, but in my opinion, downtown is very safe.
No one's ever bugged me. Like when I go to your gym, I'll walk to your gym.
Yeah.
I'll park around the corner. No, I'll see them laying on the ground, like talking, but no one's ever bugged me or nothing. Like every once in a while, I'm the type of guy to give people stuff. I give people $10, money and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never had no incident around your gym. I've always had nothing but great, even around here, just nothing but great opportunities. I've had conversations with a lot of different guys, and
Yeah.
I've asked them because I'm a very interest. Like I want to know people's story, so I'll be like, "Man, what are you doing in the street and stuff?" And then they give me like their spiel and stuff, like what happened and stuff. But yeah, I don't. I try to look at everybody like a person, and maybe they're going through something else. You never know what can happen. We could be them one day.
Sure.
At the end of the day. All right, so tell me about. You said you really like sports, right?
Yeah.
So you were like you grew up. Did you guys play? Did you play sports in your high
Sure.
school and all that?
Yeah.
Elementary, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a kid, everything that you can, and I kind of, I was big into it, whether it was watching it. I was fortunate, like I said, my dad took me to a lot of sporting events when we were kids. We
Mm,
used to have tickets to the Storm games
wow.
when they were at the sports arena, so we went down there a lot for that, which was a
Mm-hmm,
really cool experience. We used to go to a lot of games in person, and obviously all the high school events at my alma mater, Liberty Center. We went to everything,
mm-hmm,
football, basketball. My sisters ran track and played cross country.
mm-hmm,
My younger sister was a cheerleader. I think part of the reason that I ended up becoming so serious in the fitness space was because I was always super competitive and really into sports and athletics and stuff like
mm-hmm,
that. And as a boy, I always really looked up to like big muscular guys. So like I was talking earlier about professional wrestling, or
mm-hmm,
like football, basketball players, like whatever. I always thought it was, something about that presence, and
mm-hmm.
always thought that was really cool. Um, always was kind of enamored with having a powerful,
Me
strong
too, bro.
physique.
Like
And
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
yeah, absolutely.
like
Arnold,
me, like growing up, me
watching
too.
those movies as a kid, Sylvester Stallone, like
Yeah, like
those were
dude, I
that's where
wanted to
we
look like
were.
that
Yeah.
too.
We were watching the Arnold movies,
Yeah,
the Rocky, all the Sylvester Stallone movies. Remember, I was just talking to somebody today about the movie Barbarians with those two twins,
yeah,
and they were huge
they were
bodybuilder guys
jacked.
back in the day. Just somebody just talk about that today. So yeah, definitely was enamored with that as a boy, and like something about that, about having a muscular fit physique, was
Mhm,
always very appealing to me. But to be honest with you, at the time when I was coming into like the age where you can start doing that stuff, I lost my way a little bit. It was, wasn't super disciplined
mhm,
in my high school years, and even in my early college years, and didn't take advantage of youth and all the tools that I had at my disposal. And I think kind of for me, knowing that I kind of wasted some of that time
mhm,
has really driven me to make sure that I
mm,
don't waste anymore, and
mhm,
that I really dig in and do everything I can now to be, the man that I always wanted to be.
mhm,
So yeah, I think, looking up to those sports figures, those bodybuilder guys as a kid, that's definitely kind of what led me into this type of stuff.
mhm,
But once I got started doing it, you know, the way you get into something isn't necessarily the reason you stay there.
Hmm.
And it wasn't for me either because, you just don't. Not everyone's just going to look like Arnold, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's tough to do that. There's a lot of factors that go into that, and I was working full time and just so maybe
What
I
kind of work
never.
did you get into, like, at first? Like, you're working full time where? Like,
Sure.
gyms?
Yeah. So no, when I first started in getting into fitness,
Yeah.
I was actually working as a heavy equipment operator and a supervisor for an asphalt maintenance business.
Oh, okay.
So we were traveling all around Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana for the most part. Those were kind of
Mhm.
our three main spots that we were in. This company had, I think, still does, had a big contract with the Meyer stores
Mhm.
and some of the some of the trucking hubs.
Mhm.
So they were doing a lot of asphalt repair stuff, and so I ran a special machine that kind of fixed those areas up so that there weren't
Yeah.
trip hazards or potholes and stuff like that. So I was on the road, at least half the year. But I was at that time I was really getting into lifting weights and eating healthy.
Uh-huh.
So I would have to figure out a way to take all my food with me, and this is kind of how GameFit was born.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
was when I came up with the concept for all this. Was like when I'm on the road and I've got to take all my healthy food and or find it if I don't have it, and then
Mhm.
find a gym in every new city we're in. And if I'm beat up from the day of physical labor, working out in the sun on the
Mhm.
blacktop and getting my workouts in, being sore, like finding like a good deep tissue massage,
Mhm.
whatever it was, like all the things that I needed to see my fitness lifestyle through. It was hard on the road, and I always thought, man, it would be really nice if there was a spot where I could just get all this in one place. And
Yeah.
so, light bulb, game fit headquarters, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
this idea, dates back
It's been
10,
yeah.
12, 15 years. I remember I was visiting a friend who I used to work with at that company. He had moved down to Florida and opened or he was working as like a cabana set up on the beaches in the Tampa area.
Okay.
And so I went down and visited him on a break that I had. And when I got off the plane, I remember Googling like healthy meals near me, and
Mhm.
I ended up renting a car and going into Tampa, and there was a healthy meal prep service that was almost like a gas station. You walked in, and there was just fridges full of these healthy meals.
Mm.
And again, light bulb goes off like this
You're
should
like,
be in a
"Oh,
gym,
wow, yeah.
right? So, at that time, there was probably only a few gyms in the country that were doing anything like that.
Yeah.
And to this point, now fast forward 10 years later, we're still the only gym in this area that does
Yeah.
it. And even gyms, some of these big gyms that do it, like these kind of like pro bodybuilder gyms or things that the big gyms that people follow on Instagram and stuff.
Mhm.
Even a lot of these gyms that do have meal prep in available in the gym, they're not doing it in house. They're bringing that in subcontracted
Yeah.
from an actual food distribution company. Whereas with GameFit, you know, they're all our own staff, and we
Mhm.
do it. They're all our own recipes. We do it all ourselves.
You guys have your
So
own kitchen somewhere here,
so
right?
we work out of a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
I hope to have our own
Okay.
kitchen that we own in the future. That's definitely something
It's like something you rent
that's a
out?
goal of mine. Yeah, but we share a space where right now we cook out of the Northwest Ohio Cooperative Kitchen
Mm.
out on 582 between like the Haskins, Bowling Green, Perrysburg area.
Okay.
So a bunch of small businesses like mine kind of share a space so we can all pay a little less, and
Mhm.
we just reserve the space, and that's where we do our food preparation
Wow,
right
that's
now.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea to bring all that to one
Oh, it is.
spot,
It's yeah, it's fantastic.
And
Yeah.
all of this stuff is just little ideas, just little things, just you catching your eye. Like, man, that would be cool to have this in one spot. And then this is like something you're creating. It's like almost like having a dream, and then your dream is literally coming true right now.
Yeah, it is. And there's, and one of the things that
Yeah.
it's so funny you say that because I do have these moments where just because of the type of person that I am, and the way I grind and get after stuff, and just kind of how hard I am on myself, and
Mhm.
about improving the business and making sure that noses to the grindstone, and that we're always like innovating and coming up with new things. Because like at GameFit, I don't you spoke about AI earlier. We there's getting to be a point to where like you have to use AI to do some things.
Mhm.
But in terms of like creation, you know, over 90%, if not higher, of everything we've ever done has come
Yourself.
from us, from
Mhm.
from me, or from the people who help me on the staff.
Mhm.
we do the creation stuff on our own.
Yeah.
And so everything that GameFit does, whether it's the training log that I built from scratch, which
Mhm.
I don't know of any other gym that has their own training log, and it's something that we think is very important. I mean, you have to be able to track progression and to know what you've done, and if you want to make serious progress, like you need to be able to write that stuff down
Mhm.
and reflect back on it and make sure that you can get better in the future. So,
Yeah.
um, everything from that, from the nutrition guide that we wrote and published, everything that we do there, we
Mhm.
create. So we
Yeah.
we don't go to anybody else for stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously we're inspired by people who do things well. Success leaves clues.
Mhm.
And so I follow people that I respect, business owners in the fitness and the nutrition
Mhm.
space who do amazing things. And so certainly, like anybody, I am getting ideas from other people, but
Yeah.
we create and we build things, on our own, and we brand them that are
Mhm.
game fit. So, that's one of the things that I'm very proud of about this business, and something that I hope that we're going to continue to do and be leaders and innovators on as we move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I think that's a very like your guys' gym is really awesome. Um, okay, let me just rephrase what I said earlier because I know AI can be a little bit crazy, but what I like is to implement like to use it for like that like the vending machine to use it for like
Yes.
uh invoicing to use it for like to grow the business the digital
Yes.
stuff to scale this or scale that or like whatever you need to
Yeah.
to implement it into your business. But there's certain things too that you're not going to get if you don't implement it from the persons and all that kind of. We need a people to help us to grow, and especially how your guys' training methods is like one-on-one. I've never had I've never been trained there yet, but I've watched you guys. I've watched you guys, the trainer standing right there. You guys have a
We're
piece
doing
of
it old school with a
paper,
with a pen and
and you
paper.
guys
Yeah.
are writing things down. You guys are training people, showing them, okay, no, move your arm like this. Make sure you stand like this,
Yeah.
and it's like a one-on-one training session with the trainer.
Very much so, and I think we
Yeah.
do it. I think we do it as well or better than anybody in the city. Very, very particular about who we put on the staff and how things are done. Cassie, Nick, and Ari are three of the best trainers in the area, and very
Mhm.
proud to have them all. And I think as we expand to the group fitness, especially the midlife the midlife women, strength training that we're going to be doing as group fitness, all those people are going to be, they're going to be the women, and also some male trainers that are going to be, very specifically trained with a driven agenda toward helping people for very specific reasons, right?
Mhm.
So everything we do is like that. Our onboarding process for training there's a thorough questionnaire, and even to kind of to go take it a step further. So we're in the process of creating all of our own app, all of our own coaching stuff, so that like my trainers are going to have, really kind of a state of the art training, app that we're going to be able to use to get all the
Mm.
information we need from you, to get the data you can easily give us, and vice
Yeah.
versa, we can get back to you. So we're in the late stages of putting all
Yeah.
that together, and to your point, like the way AI can be useful is to save time and money, because let's
Yeah.
face it, like I don't have an endless budget where I can hire developers and or pay for attorneys to draft legal fees or legal
Mhm.
documents, things like that. So,
Yeah.
luckily we do have some attorneys on hand who are members at GameFit, and we trade services, which
Mhm.
is a blessing too. But,
Yeah.
there's just so many things that AI tools can do, that as a small business owner with not an endless budget, that,
Mhm.
that can help us get things done.
Yeah.
But in terms of like when we create things, and kind of, you know certain elements of that need to remain,
Yeah.
that have those human elements to
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
They can't You can't just, everything can't be from a
Yeah, like
computer.
your
So
fitness plan is something that you've created for 15 years. It's not, hey man, let me come up with a fitness plan for this guy. You can't do that. Like you guys have created your like tell me about that. How you okay, you work for this pavement company or whatever. I can't remember your pavement company,
yeah, it was
right?
like an
And an
asphalt maintenance
asphalt, you
company. Yep.
worked for there and then you started working out, you started making these meal preps. What led you to leave all that and become a trainer
Sure.
and then eventually have your gym or whatever?
Yeah, so it was around that time I was working with a guy who, was a good friend of mine in high school, and we became closer. working for this company. Um, I basically, just started going to him like he looked the way I wanted to look.
Mm.
He was already into this stuff. He was a trainer and he was doing bodybuilding shows. And I've never been particularly into the bodybuilding like show portion. I like to do everything up to, that portion. I'm not
Yeah.
maybe in the future, but to this point, it hasn't really interested me to actually get up there and do it. But he was doing a lot of that stuff and he looked the way I wanted to look and I loved his commitment to it, his discipline, and I kind of saw it too. And for me, I think it's like I was getting to earlier, maybe the reason you arrive there isn't the reason you stay, but as I've gotten older, it's fed my competitive nature.
Mm.
Every time that I train, I start from scratch and it's a new battle, it's a new sport, it's a new game every single time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I grew up thinking I was going to be an NBA player. Well, guess what? That
Mm.
didn't happen. So, and I grew to dislike golf. And so I needed a hobby. I needed to feed my competitive
Mm.
drive and spirit. And for me, maybe that's badminton or whatever, golf for somebody
Yeah.
else or what's big now.
Frisbee, like
Yeah, yeah, frisbee golf.
yeah, frisbee golf.
There's all kinds of cool stuff now that people can do as a community, like rec leagues, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. There's
Well,
like some kind of something that's really big right now, but I forgot what the name. But let's like you smack it into the wall or something. I don't know.
yeah, just right down the street down here. So yeah, the competitive nature in me definitely. Every time that I go personally that I go to train, I see it as like a sporting event, a competition. It's a battle of me versus me, or me versus the weights, or
Mm.
whatever it is. Like there's a mental game in there that I really enjoy that kind of feeds into the things that keep me motivated and going. So I love that aspect of it, and
Mhm.
I love doing hard things, and I love investing into something maybe where there is a short term
Mhm.
goal and gain from doing the workout, but really it's a long game, right? So
Mhm.
like really seeing the benefits of this, whether it be from a health perspective or just the way you look in your clothes and in the mirror, it takes time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a long commitment to see the big changes that you see in your mind's eye when you set out to something. I love diving into and committing to that long-term vision.
But okay, hold on, because you said there was a point where you felt like early on in your life you weren't like that.
No,
So what was this? What was the switch?
I
How
wish I
did?
knew.
Oh, you don't
I
know?
wish I knew.
It's just one day you went from being like not that committed to making yourself committed to everything,
Yeah, I think just kind of an
or
awakening, a
slowly.
personal awakening.
Oh.
I think there was definitely some trauma that as you get older, do you realize whether it's like breaking up with a relationship,
Mm,
or your
mm.
dog dies, or a family member passes,
Yeah,
you lose
yeah.
your job. Like there could whatever the spark is. There were sparks out there throughout my life, and maybe it was just a kind of like a compilation of them,
Mhm,
that led to kind of like a lifestyle change for me. I think at some point, having some self-awareness and just like getting compliments throughout your life, and people talking to you honestly about like, hey, you're wasting your talents.
mm.
And people have
Like
pointed that
people
out.
see something in you that
Yeah,
you don't even see in yourself.
yeah, or I saw it and I just wasn't willing to work for it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't ready. That's the way I think about it, is like I wasn't ready.
Okay.
So I think what I've been able to do with GameFit, being lucky enough and be blessed to get have all the
Yeah.
contributions that I've had. I didn't do this on my own. Can't state that clearly enough. Obviously, like, what GameFit is and what it continues to be, I'm going to be a big part of that, kind of the centerpiece. But
Yeah,
I
of
wouldn't be here without a lot of the help I've gotten.
course.
And so, I think knowing that now, I feel like there's a debt that's owed,
Mm.
and because there's a real one, but there's also like
Mm.
there's also just like that sense of people have committed to you, people have believed in you,
Mhm.
and you need to believe in yourself. And like I said, throughout my whole life, there was always kind of like a potential. You have potential, and and
Yeah.
and then just kind of, like I said, lost my way a little bit as a younger man. And so, however I got there,
Yeah,
somehow
yeah.
the stars aligned,
It
and
started
I
waking
was
you
able
up.
to be like, hey man, let's go, let's
Get your
get it,
shit together.
let's do
So what
something, let's
happened?
do
You quit?
something.
Did you quit the pavement place, asphalt place?
So I transitioned to working for the county. So that job kind
Oh,
of led me to another job. So I took one of the things I didn't like about working for that company. It was a great company, and they're still doing very
yeah,
well.
because you're an operator too,
Yeah.
so
So
you're
I
making
acquired some
money.
skills that kind of allowed me to move to working for local government, and So I got hired on to be an equipment operator, worked up to be an equipment operator, and then kind of naturally I fell into the union leadership role.
Mm.
I was elected chief steward even before I was actually eligible to be in the union. So
Wow.
pretty. So at that point, like, again, things are just starting to align, right? Like I'm assuming leadership roles,
Mhm.
kind of coming into my own as I was getting a little more mature and developing a better work ethic.
Mhm.
As I got closer, unfortunately, to being closer to 30 years old and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
it took me a while to figure some stuff out. Still a lot to figure out, but
Of
definitely
course.
was a late bloomer. So yeah, so I think a lot of that too with the stuff that I was doing with the union, um, some of it's thankless because you're doing things and you only have so much power, but you're trying your best to help people, get the things that they want out of their job, but also do what's fair and what's right all at the
Mhm.
same time. And you only have so much power and ability to do so.
Yeah.
So I was actually planning on transitioning into a full time union role where I was going to be basically helping other union leaders with their individual groups of people around the
Mhm.
state. I was kind of interviewing for a position like that, and again, there was a spark in my life, and I just kind of was looking around and like, is this me? Is this who I am? Is this what I want it to be? And I decided it wasn't. So I
Wow.
quit everything. I quit my job. I changed the trajectory of where I was, where I was heading.
Yeah.
I moved downtown, took a job as a personal, I was already certified as a personal trainer
Okay.
because I was doing personal training while I was working,
Mhm.
in that industry. So I just decided, hey, like, this is your passion.
Mhm.
You're getting up there in age. I was late 30s at the time. It's like, hey, let's turn this thing around and let's do what feels right and what I want to do. And so I'm just
Mhm.
going all in.
So when you were training, you felt like more of a pull towards that
Yes,
than the union and
it was
all
where I
that kind of
belonged. No,
you
and not even that. I love the union stuff, and
okay.
um, there, like I said, it was really hard work, and but again, there's something about, like, for me, being more in control of everything, like,
Yeah.
owning my own business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm in control and I get to make decisions, and the buck stops with me, right? And
Yep.
so that's something that really feeds into my personality type. And I think, luckily I've developed the discipline and the work ethic to be able to see it through. And now it's just about, continuing to build and acquire new skills
Yeah.
and make new relationships, to keep that going. So yeah, I just, like you kind of said, I felt a calling toward it,
Yeah.
and I knew that I wasn't, I was content, but I wasn't happy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't go any further.
Mhm.
So I just turned everything in a different direction, ripped it all down and rebuilt it all back
Yep.
up, and committed myself to what I thought was my passion. And I think I was right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so here we are, 5, 5, 6 years later now,
Wow.
into where I've been doing this, only this, right?
Yeah.
Nutrition and fitness, and being a gym owner now almost 3 years, to where, this, I know this is it. I
Yeah,
mean, I
this is
know it
it.
is. This
No,
is where
yeah,
I'm
there's
supposed to be.
yes, sir. There's no going back now too.
No.
Because but also like you felt that calling. That's like you've been having these little awakenings, when you went to that gym and you seen that, the meals, when you did this, when you were working over here, and you've been putting all these little things together, and then all of a sudden now you can look back, you can look at your gym and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I mean?
that's something I try to do more of too. Is just that, those moments of recognition. It's definitely something that I need to do better at, because
Yeah.
I think, being in the grind of things and having a really high standard, you kind of get in that mode of like, this isn't good enough, or we need to do more, or this is frustrating for this reason. And it's really important, for me to try to do a better job. I think in the future of being, focusing on the good things we're doing,
Mhm.
and to 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 slow things down for a minute and just step back and, like, look at
Mhm.
what's been built, and what we're doing, and the relationships we made, and the
Mhm.
way we've changed people's lives, and read the Google reviews, and
Yeah.
to just see, like, the things that people say about the thing that we're doing and how incredible that
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
and how amazing, like, my staff is, that they choose to work at GameFit when they could go other places
Mhm.
and be very successful. And everyone like yourself who chooses GameFit over every other gym that they could go to.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing to see that, and I think that's something that I want to do a better job in the future of, is like more reflection on that,
Mhm.
and kind of allowing that to be what the things that we focus on as we look for passion
Yeah.
and ideas moving forward, is like, hey, we're doing a great job, people love this, let's take that positive energy and keep it spinning, and not
Mhm.
try to be so like, yes, we always need to do better, we always need to work harder, we always need
Yeah.
to come up with new ideas and do things, but definitely trying to focus on being happy about what we've done, but never content.
Never content.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are creating something beautiful. And like when I look at it, like just what you had, like I haven't even seen the expansion part, but just what you had like a couple weeks ago, I look at that, man, and it's amazing what you've built. And I know when you're building it, it's hard to see everything you're building. But like if you ever step back and look, I love when I'll take pictures of the outside and the flag and the sign, and I always put out my stories. And I just amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Even when you walk by and you see all the machines and stuff, it's just gorgeous. Like I can't wait till the whole corner's done, because then now you're gonna be able to walk by the whole thing
Yeah.
and see into the gym, right?
It's definitely something that that I leaned into heavily, was the aesthetic. It is important. We talked earlier about content creation, especially in the fitness space.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a reason why people want to come and film there. And obviously, it's because we're friendly and we promote it,
Mhm.
and we welcome it. But I think the Game Fit does look really good on camera,
Mhm.
and that's by design. And so the new elements that we're going to put on the new side, brother, they're going to be
Mhm.
spectacular. I kind of I sprinkled a few seeds
Yeah.
in the video that I dropped a few weeks or a month ago about some of the things we're going to be doing, but again, kind of leaning into the old school side of Game Fit, uh, the way that it exists now, and the equipment that's going to be there, and the
Mhm.
aesthetic of it, and then we're going to keep a lot of the same branding and colors, but we're going to implement some new custom lighting and some new design on
Mhm.
the new side, with
Yeah.
some of those new elements of fitness, like updated machines, the saunas, the turf, that stuff is kind of like newer age style,
Mhm.
um, to the gym and fitness community. So it's cool because one of the things that people talk about is like, when you expand, you don't want to lose what Game Fit is. And I don't think we're going to, because we're still going to have two spaces that operate, yes, together as a whole, but they're going to be two 5,000 square foot spaces that are separated by a
Mhm.
wall. So you're kind of going to enter a hallway, and then it's like a whole other side that's
Yeah.
that's that's a little bit different in aesthetic, and different in the way it functions and the things that are available on it. So I think the way the gym is going to be, the aesthetic, but also the functionality
Mhm.
of it, is going to be extremely unique, and I think it's going to be very cool and something that people are going to want to experience and be a part of.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Are we still gonna have the same entrance? Are
Yes.
we gonna have two entrances or just one
No, so yeah, just like any gym, there normally you would only have one
one
entrance for a gym,
entrance?
so it's
Yeah.
all going to flow through the front desk area that we have, so that we can do our onboarding, and like I
Mhm.
said, with the software updates and some of the customer facing stuff, we're going to make it
Mhm.
more friendly. So there's going to be a kiosk where you can actually go up and do a lot of things digitally, um, to fit our 24/7 model. Like I said, there's going to be an AI fridge, so that
Mhm.
you could get food even when we're not staffed, that you can get a protein shake, and that's something I don't
Yeah.
think we talked about, but we're bringing in the first in the area. I don't even know how far you would have to drive to see one of these, but
Mhm.
we're working with a supplement company, and a protein and pre-workout vending machine, where you actually like make yourself a protein shake
Okay.
and things like you would
Mhm.
like a Coke,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's like you push some buttons, and it pours you like a fresh drink with the
Okay.
flavors that you want, the add-ons that you want. It's going to be super cool, and new to this area.
And you have desserts too.
We do, yeah.
Like
We
healthy
we
you
we
brought me
brought you
too.
brought you a brownie and a cheesecake. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
create all that stuff from scratch. It's all just, it's an extension of our meal prep service. It's all healthy ingredients. We don't add sugar directly to any of those. They're all
Mhm.
sweetened like naturally with honey or sweet potatoes or peanut butter,
Oh,
or
okay.
the whey protein that we use has like stevia and elements like that in
Mhm.
it. So all that stuff, or chocolate, obviously, but
Mhm.
and transparently, there is sugar in chocolate,
Of
right? but
course, yeah.
but we don't tape like domino sugar and dump it into anything
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
So they're a way that you can get your protein options in, and get them in a little bit healthier,
Mhm.
than maybe you would be otherwise. And also, like, the difference between maybe something that you can buy from us, like our protein brownies, versus getting something in a wrapper that's sitting at the store for months before like it's filled with preservatives and stuff, and none of our stuff
Yeah.
is. So if it doesn't get eaten, it's gonna go bad,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's natural, and it's got a shelf life. So Yeah, we're just trying to do things that give people a healthy option, but also again, everything is bespoke and custom to game fit.
Mhm.
Never using something else that was
Yeah.
borrowed or whatever.
You
So
guys are like setting the standard. And if anybody else wants to follow, that's fine. But you guys are trying to come up with the highest standard in your fitness and your
right,
in the gym and the food and every the training. You guys are trying to be like the top notch.
yeah,
And I see that.
of course,
That's
yeah,
me. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? And then whoever wants to copy you, whatever, that's fine. But you guys set the standard, and I see it,
yeah.
and I think it's very amazing. What was I gonna? I was thinking about a question to ask you, but I completely
It's
forgot
okay.
now. But let's see. All right,
If
so
I could just jump in on that,
yeah,
so
go ahead.
I don't ever worry about, or at least I do my best to remind myself not to worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
If I do, I believe in my abilities, you know the things that I've created, my work ethic, the people that I surround myself with. I think it's going to be tough for anyone to beat it.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily, you know, see that there's a lot of time that needs to be wasted toward worrying about what somebody else is doing. I need to focus on what we do and to
Mhm.
do the best job that we can do, because the more you worry about what somebody else is doing, that's
Yeah,
time you're
yeah,
wasting not focusing on making your own business better.
yeah,
And so unfortunately there is a lot of that stuff that goes around. I do my best to not be involved in any of that stuff.
yeah.
Um, if you believe in yourself, if you think you've got something, a talent, a work ethic, a kindness, whatever it is, relationships that you've built, if you focus on, what you can do well and raising your game, then
Mhm.
you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah,
And there's always going to be competition, and there's plenty of mouths, to feed and go
mhm.
around. There can be other good gyms in the area. There can be another meal prep service that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
There can be other great personal trainers. There's always going to be competition, but I believe that we're always going to be among the best, if not the
yeah.
best, because of the things I said, because of our abilities, our relationships, our commitment, our all those things that
Mhm.
that make the Game Fit staff what we are, and our members too. I mean, we
Experience
we
too.
draw a certain person in there,
Mhm.
and like I said, that relationship is reciprocal. The culture that is Game Fit is, yeah, it was established, but it's also our members are continuing that forward.
Mhm.
So I think what we've established and what we're going to grow into, we're going to be a powerhouse in this
Yeah.
area, and I think we're going to continue to be that in this area and beyond in the future.
Yeah, so,
Looking
like,
forward to it.
remember Powerhouse?
Yeah,
Like, that whole brand
yeah,
was, like,
iconic.
everybody wanted to wear a Powerhouse shirt, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And, like, your gym gives that vibe,
hey, I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
we're getting
When
the
you
gear as
get
we
there,
speak. Yeah,
like, because also, like, you got the Arnold pictures, and then you got the Game Fit with, like, the muscle. Isn't there, like, a muscle
yeah.
guy or something? Like,
So
that right there
that's a
just
caricature that was like taken off a picture of me from a few years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it?
yep,
Okay. So all of that gives it that vibe. Like
yeah.
what is it called? The one we just said? The other gym that we were saying?
Oh, powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah. It gives that powerhouse
yeah,
vibe, you know? So yeah, I'm pretty sure like you guys already are like the powerhouse gym, especially downtown, because a lot of them are like corporate owned. No one's even there, bro. Like remember LA Fitness? Like things would break down, saunas would be break down for months. We would call corporate, nobody would fix it, but
yep,
you're there. Something goes wrong, you're there, your trainers are there. It's more of a personal relationship. You're the owner, you're there, your trainers are there all the time. It's not like, oh, some guy in California owns this. You know what
yeah.
I mean? I
No,
think
that's
that's
something
really important about your gym.
I couldn't agree more. That's something that I'm very proud of, and it's something that when I was working at a box gym, a gym owned by people that I would never meet,
Yeah.
and on conference calls with some guy that you know trying to feed his family, but he could have been selling cars or internet service or
Mhm.
whatever, or dishwashers.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't a fitness guy. He wasn't quality control in the way and in love with this business in the way that I am and the way that
Mhm.
my staff is. So yeah, we are fitness people, and we are right here.
Mhm.
My hands are in dirty toilets every day. There's a
Mhm.
work ethic, a discipline, and a commitment to everything that is Game Fit that you cannot replicate.
Mhm.
I don't believe at a corporate level. Everyone that works at Game Fit is very is thoroughly vetted and is very dedicated to, not only the brand but to themselves and to their
Yeah.
own clients and to our members. And it's really hard to replicate that. And the bigger a company gets, the more it grows, the further it grows away from the initial vision,
Yeah.
the more you lose those types of things. And so the interesting thing is how do I grow Game Fit and not lose those
Yes, sir.
elements that make it special? So, yeah, obviously we're not going to have 50 locations next year or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But like any business, of course, I want to put a gym, in some other areas, and we get
Mhm.
people all the time. Like I just met with a group of realtors a week or two ago, and they were like, "Please put a gym in Perrysburg.
Yeah.
We love your gym, but it's tough to get downtown." And so I think for me, the first thing is
Yeah, yeah.
overcoming, like, well, for now we're going to make it so good that you have to drive downtown. Like, you
Yeah, yeah.
can't live with yourself unless you come to downtown. And the nice thing is
Mhm.
is like we were talking earlier, brother, I mean, downtown is so convenient to get to,
Mhm.
and it's the way that it's situated around the interstate infrastructure in our
It's right
area.
there.
It's easy to get to. We're 15-20 minutes max from all the
Mhm.
suburbs. And if you think about, if you live in the inner city, like how long, I'm not going to name specific gyms, but
Mhm.
how long it takes to travel to another gym, you're probably at that range anyways. And maybe it
Mhm.
seems like it's closer, but it's not. And one of the things that we've done, and we're going to release it with the marketing package that we're putting out for the expansion, is to actually show people the routes of what it's like to come to Game Fit from Perrysburg, from
Mhm.
Rossford, from Sylvania, from North Toledo. We're going to show you, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is how close it is. This is how long it takes when you put it
Yeah.
in your Google Maps or whatever. And to let people know, like, hey, I have 15 minutes and I can get
It's
there
worth it.
easily. And when you get here, there's a spot to park. We're right in here. You come in, boom, there's real people who are committed to fitness and nutrition. They're there to help you. The
Mhm.
equipment is top notch. Like you mentioned earlier, it's the cleanest gym that you're
Yeah.
ever going to walk into. It's an environment that you're going to love and you're going to want to be a part of. And so, I think people, we're going to convince people that don't know yet
Mhm.
that we are worth a 15 or 20-minute drive.
It's worth it.
And if if we can get to that point to where we're successful enough, then we'll put a gym in your area and we'll
Mhm.
make it more convenient. But
Absolutely.
those things take time, but it is absolutely something that I want to do. I want to
Yeah.
grow this business and have more locations in the future for
Like if
sure.
if you want a gym, if you want a game fit in your area, drive to downtown for a couple years.
Right.
Make sure
Help
that
us get
this one
there.
is gonna grow.
Yeah,
Let's get this one going, and then eventually we're gonna get one in your neighborhood.
that's right.
But it's worth it, bro. Because look, okay, before my gym was 10 minutes away, right?
Yep.
But they closed. They couldn't keep it clean. They couldn't. Nothing. Everything was broken. Eventually, the corporate took it apart. Now they sold it to the YMCA, whatever. That was my gym. But now I come downtown almost every day for my studio. So I was thinking, why not GameFit? Because I'm driving to downtown. I can stop at GameFit, do my workout, get ready for work, stop at the studio, and then head to work. And it's just like, I just have to rearrange things a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but if you just rearrange your life a little bit, you can do the gym right before work and then head to work. It doesn't matter, even if you're going either like from Sylvania to downtown, or some people work in Perrysburg, but like it's only 15-minute drive. So
Yeah.
is and okay, like they just fixed South Street. They're fixing the bridge, they're fixing that bridge.
Yeah.
So almost like from the east side is easy, from the south side is easy, from Sylvania is easy,
Yeah.
from it's they're all the thoroughways to downtown. They're actually fixing all those roads to make the commute downtown even easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the most accessible neighborhood in the city overall, if you think
Mhm.
about it, in or out. I mean, it's easy to get down here, and
No
you know,
traffic.
that's right. No, it's very
We don't
easy.
have no traffic.
Because you have those huge one-way roads going in and out, right? So whether it's going out Michigan or in Erie, you have a
Mhm.
4-lane road that you're traveling down. And obviously, yeah, if you come downtown a half hour before a walleye game or a
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
big country concert or whatever, like, yeah, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
every now and
That's the
then.
only
But
time,
yeah,
like
those are few and far between. But the funny thing is like people will commit to coming to downtown to do stuff like that or to go to the bars
yeah,
and not
yeah.
think twice about it. But it's like, oh, we can't go to a gym downtown. Well, why not? At the time when you're going to the gym, downtown is probably the least busy and it's the most accessible.
Mhm.
And I think, if you come down and experience Game Fit, especially once we roll with this expansion here, which I don't know if we've set a date yet here, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping to be open in September on the other side.
Okay.
It's going to be late summer, early fall at the latest. So, things are moving. I have a meeting Monday with the project manager and the lead
By Halloween, it'll
architect.
be done though.
Oh,
By
but
like
man,
October and stuff,
barring
we'll
a
be in there.
catastrophe, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to
yeah.
come back on this
Okay, yeah,
podcast and
yeah.
tell you all about it. But no,
No,
I
no.
think we're in good shape. I think
Yeah.
the permitting and some of that stuff does take a long time, but all of our equipment, a lot of that stuff that maybe had longer lead times,
Mhm.
maybe like a year ago when I started this process, a lot of it's shrunk down. Heck, we've already got 3 new machines in. I have
Mhm.
one landing tomorrow. I have another one landing next week, 2 more the week after.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, we're getting to the point to where like my machines are getting here, which seem to be an issue. Like, and upfront is like, hey, we can't even. The equipment suppliers are telling me like, hey, we're 8, 12 months out. I'm like, oh
Oh,
crap,
okay.
like I'm gonna open a gym with nothing in it. But no, that's not the case. We're
Okay.
actually getting equipment in pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the space is gonna be ready. Every it's gonna be full. It's gonna be very unique to this area
It's
with the
just
quality and the amount of things that are going to be in there and the way it's put together. It's just going to be, GameFit 2.0. So
yeah, yeah.
everything that it is, but even better. And it's
Bro,
going to be incredible.
these equipments that you're buying, that shit stuff has to cost thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Because I remember one time looking at like a treadmill and it was like a couple $1,000,
Yeah.
and you're putting these like heavy. So all of that stuff, do you have to buy that up front? Or is that like you get to lease these things and buy them? I don't know. How does that work?
Yeah. So there aren't too many lease programs
Okay.
anymore on this stuff. I know that maybe was a thing years ago, but yeah, for the most part,
You gotta buy
obviously,
all
yeah,
that?
it's
Wow.
bought. So yeah, like just like a lot of businesses do, especially in the beginning, you know, take out a loan and
Mhm.
you make payments on stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so obviously, that's definitely the case with some of it. Some of the stuff I bought outright with
Mhm.
funds that we already had,
Mhm.
with revenue that we've made. But yeah, some of the stuff obviously it just depends on what it is. But when you commit to an expansion like this, I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking pretty. I'm not going to say
You have
specific
to be
numbers, but
you have to be ready.
pretty big sums of money. And
Yeah, yeah.
so obviously, there needs to be a plan, and there needs to be you know the revenue coming back in to
Yeah,
justify it.
goals and
So
everything, yeah.
yeah, but
So, okay, so, let's
the equipment is definitely expensive.
let's say
And
you
I'm sorry,
no.
we do go quality over quantity. That's like a big
Okay.
thing. So that's the business model. I could
Quality
stuff
over quantity, okay.
tons of stuff in there that everybody else has, like
Mhm,
cheaper equipment. Not that it's bad, but just stuff that you can already find in every other gym. But then how am I different?
mhm,
We That's not what GameFit is. GameFit is bespoke. It's custom. It's top notch. Everything is premier and elite. Like we do stuff that other people aren't doing. So when I'm shopping for equipment, when I'm doing
mhm,
my research, when I'm traveling around the country and looking around the world at the equipment, I just went to Las Vegas and demoed a bunch of equipment that
mm,
nobody in this area has. And there's a reason that we have this equipment. It's because I've done the work and the research
mhm,
to go out and look for this stuff and to bring in the best stuff in the world.
okay,
So I mean, there's a reason for it.
mhm,
We want to be premier and elite and different than what other people are doing.
yeah. What I was gonna ask is, like, because I was just, like, thinking, like, "Man, that's so crazy, it's so much equipment." Let's say you get a new whatever, do you take that old one and sell it? Can you do that or no?
Yeah. So some of
You
the
find,
stuff,
like, another gym
yeah.
or
So
something?
some of the stuff that I feel like is maybe not as good of equipment,
Mhm.
that I mean, it's still that's the funny thing is some of the
Still
stuff we're
good.
getting rid of is better than what you're going to find in other gyms, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've definitely moved. We're moving on from a few pieces that I think we can improve on and get updated, better versions of. So that's something
Mhm,
we've already done. And again, some of the stuff like. For example, like we have I'm not going to name any equipment brands because I don't want to
mhm.
besmirch anybody. Like all this
Yeah,
equipment
yeah.
is nice and we wouldn't have bought it in the first place if it wasn't, and it served its purpose to this point. But just like everything else, we're trying to do a little better, and there's new
Mhm.
stuff that's come out with more variability
Yeah.
and more customization for the user. And so, like for example, we have a machine that it's tough for smaller people to use, and because it's like a machine that women tend to use a little more. I mean, men use it too, but more women tend to use it.
Mhm,
Like shorter girls like really struggle to even use it, and so it's like you know, we could buy a different version of this
mhm.
that has more adjustments on it and that fits different size people. And so why
Yeah.
wouldn't we do
Yeah, of
that if we have
course.
the ability to do it? So, all the equipment that we have has always been nice, but you can always improve on things.
Mhm,
And so we'll find an owner that loves that piece of equipment. We'll
mhm.
sell it to them and we'll bring in something that's going to fit our member base from somebody who's 6'5" or somebody who's four
Yeah.
foot five. We need to have stuff that we can turn over hundreds of members on,
Mhm.
so that different people can use it. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. We're always looking to
Yeah.
do that.
It's beautiful, man, what you're doing, dude. And then I love like see, I'm the type of person that I always tell people build a subscription model business. I believe in subscription model businesses because I have a cleaning company. When I sell you, like you say, hey Yogi, clean my gym. I'm gonna be there every you want me to clean it once a week? Once a week, I'm gonna clean your gym.
Yeah.
And that's just one sell. It's like when I signed up to be a member at your gym, you sell me one time, Yogi, you're the member, and then that's it. Like you're making, every month you're getting that membership
Yeah.
fee. I think it's really important. A lot of people don't see that type of business as being the business of the future. They believe in like having to sell a house, sell a house, sell a house,
Yeah.
which is okay. You can sell a house, but there's a big portion of time when you don't have a house, you haven't sold a house in a long time. But like a subscription model business, it brings you money every month. You just have to try to come up with a way to do it. Whatever
Yeah.
gym, cleaning business, whatever Netflix.
Of course.
However, I think it's really important. I think you have like a great business model with your business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've tried to be, variable and have different things available for different people. So we do have, like terminal set durations too, where you can buy a 3 month and we're gonna actually add a 6 month
Okay.
or a year. So if you just want it for the people who want to do that, who like to just pay up front,
Mhm.
and it is nice because it is kind of like you can almost kind of use that that type of money is like to invest in something when you get it, in advance like that.
Mhm.
But no, you're right. For most of our members are on a month to month recurring,
Mhm.
whether it's personal training members or do it yourself gym members who are just coming and doing their own thing. They're
Yeah.
paying their monthly every month and it's recurring. And so but it's cancel anytime, which is
Yeah. Of
something people
course.
like too because of, if they don't want to commit to a year because maybe they might be moving or they're just they don't know if they're going to be able to make it to the gym in 6 months or whatever it is. So if somebody wants that year commitment, they can have it and they
Mhm.
can have it at a small discount, or if they just want to have that ability to move around or
Yeah.
to stop coming if they want to and not pay anymore, they can. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
whatever it is, we we,
That's
we try to
beautiful.
we try to meet people
That's
where they
beautiful.
are. Yeah,
Like I can cancel at any time.
that's right.
Yeah, but you make the gym experience so good there that I'm like, I don't want to cancel that. Even if maybe I haven't been there in a month, I'm still not going to cancel my gym membership because when I do go, I know that I'm going to have a great experience. I'm going to cuz I sometimes I'll go 4 months to the gym and then I
Mhm.
might not go for a month.
Yeah.
But I just want to keep my membership because I know that when I go in there it's going to be such a dope ass experience.
Yeah,
You know
thank
what I
you.
mean?
No, I
So
appreciate
yeah,
that.
I
I think
like
that's
when
a
you
big
bring a high value to a thing, no one's gonna cancel unless they have a bad experience. Let's say I go there, all the bathrooms are dirty, the machines are dirty. You know what I mean? I have a bad experience, then I might leave and cancel.
yeah.
But as long as I don't have that bad experience, dude, I might not even go to gym for 3 months. But it's just gonna keep going. And a lot of people, that's just because the bad experience is what's gonna get you canceled.
Yeah, and I
But
think
other than that, I don't see it.
that's one of the common things you see too if you talk to different people who've been to different gyms and or if you look at gym reviews, you'll see that the cancellation process is kind of a sticking point for a lot of
Yeah.
people. So they have bad experiences at other gyms, whether like the corporate model where you can't get a hold of somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
or there's like a huge cancellation fee, or even some of the local gym owners that really make it tough to cancel. And we don't. If you go through our 70 plus Google reviews or whatever we have now, you won't see a single complaint about it because
Mhm.
if you don't want to come, then you don't have to.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
obviously, there's some parameters to the contract. Like if you've already paid, then we do have to have some type of a commitment.
Mhm.
But we're never going to hassle anybody. And I think we've had a lot of people like leave the gym and come back. And I think obviously once we do the expansion, I'm getting messages from people who came to the gym but left, and
Mhm.
for whatever reason they but they're all like, man, I can't believe that you guys are expanding. There's
Yeah,
all this new
yeah.
stuff. I can't wait to come back. And
Yeah, they're coming
and
back.
and at some point I was like, oh sure, like okay, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
we love it. We want them to come back,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and we're so grateful that we're able to provide the things that make people want to come back and that we didn't sully anyone's experience. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think the way you leave any relationship, whether it's business or personal, it's tough to do, right? Because
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
there can be feelings involved and stuff like that. But with business, you really have to make it about business
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be fair and think about like the future. You can't just you can't hold a grudge against
No,
somebody or
because you
anything like
never know.
that.
They might not have that $50 right now to spend.
Most of our
You know what
most
I
of our
mean?
of our, especially our personal training, has been referral based. I
Mm,
mean, almost all of our growth is organic, brother. Like we
mm,
have not spent hardly any money on marketing.
yeah.
And that is something that's going to change. I do have a marketing budget in line with the expansion, especially
Mm,
because the group fitness is, like I said, the linchpin of this. And so I think, letting people know, like, hey guys, if you weren't aware, there's this great gym downtown that has
mhm,
all these things that these other gyms don't have, like the stuff you see on Instagram at a big gym in Texas or Florida or
mhm,
in Dubai. Like we have that same equipment or better here.
yeah.
So not only can you experience all this stuff on your own, but um, there's just a we need to let people know about that stuff, but
Mhm,
also obviously, like when we're entering to a new service here where we haven't been in the group fitness space.
mhm,
So now that we are going to do that, we really do need to let other people know, like, hey, at this gym you're going to get very specific group training with some of the best instructors in
mhm,
the area. Like some of the, I can't wait to let people know, like the instructors that we have coming in to work here at
mhm,
GameFit that are going to be putting on classes. It's going to be amazing. Especially, like I keep saying, those midlife strength,
yeah.
midwife women's strength classes are going to be incredible. And the education we're going to do around that, working with a local OBGYN who's going to be doing some education seminars and
Okay.
kind of helping our trainers, put together programs and education and communication that's super important for that demographic of
Okay.
people. But like, whether it's like like a Latino jazzercise or whatever,
Mhm,
like we're gonna have dance classes. We're gonna have looking at doing some yoga stuff, a lot of strength based group classes,
okay.
but we're gonna keep them small enough that the instructor's actually able to help you.
Mhm,
And then we're gonna bring in some elements like a wearable that our people can they can buy a little wearable, and then we'll actually like broadcast their stuff so they can see like
okay.
how they're doing versus maybe other people in the gym if they
Mhm.
want to track their heart rate, their calories, their steps, their rep count, stuff like that. So
Wow,
we're adding in a bunch of elements that's
that's a
cool. But
lot.
like one of the things that's really going to separate our group fitness from really anybody else is the gym membership is included, brother. So
Mhm,
you get to use the treadmills. You get to come at 3 in the morning on Christmas if you want.
mhm,
You get to use the infrared saunas, the track, all of the machines that you can't get and use anywhere else in the city.
mhm,
Like we're building so much value into the unlimited group fitness bundle at the same price that people are paying it. The traditional group fitness studios.
mhm,
We're going to be doing, I would argue the same training or better. With our game fit model, which I
mhm.
think, as we've talked about, is unique and is very custom to the individual. So we're going to be able to give you that personalized touch with great group training. But on top of that, you're also going to have the ability to use our entire facility at
Wow.
no additional cost. So I mean, yeah, brother, I can't wait
Yeah, that's
to get the word
awesome.
out and let people come in and experience it. And I think, coming into a class, you see what the gym looks like come September, October. You do one of these classes with us
Mhm.
and you look at what you were paying at another gym and what you were getting versus what you're going to be getting at Game Fit.
Yeah,
It's going to be undeniable. And I can't wait to bring that
yeah,
value into people's lives. It's going to be amazing.
yeah, that's awesome, man. Because a lot of these group fitness places, they'll have the group fitness, but all you see is like one little rack of dumbbells.
Sure.
You're gonna have this whole gym.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to sign up for those classes and then also have access to everything.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing. Um, is there anything else that we missed that maybe we need to bring up? Is that we haven't talked about or anything?
Yeah, I think we've probably touched on most of the stuff. I think overall, guys, if you're interested at all in what we're doing, follow us. I think the main place to see us is probably on Instagram.
Instagram.
Obviously, we have a website. It's gamefithq.com. Um, so short for GameFit headquarters. On Instagram, that's the page tag too. So GameFit
Yeah.
HQ. Just visit the page, shoot us a follow if you want to. But honestly, just read our Google reviews.
Mhm.
I think that we've compiled quite a few now, and we have a 5-star rating. I think we're one of the only gyms in the area with a 5-star rating. um we do a good job. Like we've talked about over the last hour and a half, is the things that we're doing are very personal in nature.
Mhm.
The people who work at GameFit, not just myself, but Nick, Ari, Cassie, everybody on my kitchen staff, um, we are fitness people. This is what we do. So
Mhm.
we're not just like rolling out of bed and it's just like this is just a job. Like this is our life, right?
Mhm.
So we're committed to our own personal fitness and nutrition, and we're committed to yours too. And we're kind of offering something that's very unique. And I think when you combine that with the top of the line equipment,
Mhm.
the infrared saunas, the aesthetic of the gym, the culture of the gym, I think everything that GameFit is, the meal prep service on hand, the massage therapy. Our
Mhm,
massage therapist Joanna is just she's a healer. She's a beautiful person, and
mhm.
highly recommend anybody who hasn't experienced her abilities to come and see her because she's so good.
Yeah, and you can
Um,
book that, right?
right on the app, yeah,
Yeah.
all the stuff right on the app. So
Okay.
again, it's GameFit is a one stop shop for everything you need for your personal health and fitness.
Yeah.
Whether it's lifting weights, doing your cardio, getting something healthy to eat, getting some red light therapy. Like we're going to offer all that stuff, and
Everything.
it's 24/7. Convenient parking. We're easy to get to. We're easy to find, and
Mhm.
we're ready to help anybody who wants to be helped.
Man, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
thank
Yogi.
you
I
for
really
giving
appreciate
me
you
this
having me,
opportunity.
brother.
The let me just look at this camera because I'm scared. According to your life, everything that you've been through, you know, you said at one point you weren't the motivated guy. You drop a message of hope for that unmotivated guy that that maybe he needs a spark and he needs to start something.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you do
So
that for me?
absolutely. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love everything about nutrition, training, fitness, all of it. Is what it's given to me. And maybe it wouldn't do that for everybody. I don't know,
Mhm,
but I do know what it's given to me and what it's given to a lot of people. I think if you speak to people who have made a commitment to their health, whether it be because they want to look better or feel better or both.
mhm,
I think it's important that it's both, right? You do want to look at. I think everybody does, and it's a byproduct, but like the health is should be always at the
mhm,
forefront. So being a healthy, relatively strong person, so that you can age gracefully and go about your other duties, whether it's being a parent or a brother or sister or an employee,
mhm,
like everything that you do. Um, Fitness and nutrition can make those things easier and more
mhm.
sustainable. So, I mean, for me, and everyone's path is different, but for
Yeah.
me, it really did help me find myself and to be a dedicated person to grow. And I would say amongst everything, like when you find your passion, I think another thing that happens as a byproduct of that
Mhm,
is you develop relationships that you wouldn't have got otherwise. Like most of my best friends now, and like the person I'm dating, um, and a lot of those things, and even like my sisters, my younger sister in particular,
mhm,
because she helps me with a lot of stuff at the gym. She's a really talented marketer and
mhm.
designer. So it's brought me closer to those people. Like
Wow.
some of my best friends I've only known because of Game Fit.
Mhm,
And so these, I'm 40, be 43 years old soon. And like I could say that four or five of my closest group of friends I only know because of Game Fit. And I think that's because I'm where I'm supposed to be.
mhm,
And so those people came into my life for that reason, because I was in a place to where I was available and I was someone that they wanted to be around, and I was able
mhm,
to give something that they needed and wanted. And I think, again, those things are reciprocated
mhm.
back to them and to me. So that's one thing. And I would say also one of the things that I think is unique about the way that I don't want to speak for anybody else at
Yeah.
GameFit. I think, Cassie and Nick have a great skill set, and Ari, everybody that works at GameFit, my kitchen staff. But for me, I think, one of the things that I've been able to do really successfully is kind of overcome, like you said, some of those things where I wasn't doing things before until I found a way to do them. And
Mhm,
so the mental struggles around like binge eating or
mhm,
whatever, I've developed kind of a system, and I actually have several sections of the nutrition guide that I created and distributed, that kind of helps people, maybe it gives them the tools to kind of fight through those singular battles that you
mhm,
have. And there's nothing wrong with having a pizza here and there, but obviously, I think you would, when you speak to most people about their nutrition, they do kind of lament like, hey, I did this last night, I wish I wouldn't have
mhm,
had some regret. And so, again, you can have a cookie, you can have a pizza,
mhm,
you can have some drinks if that's what you're into. But I think you don't want to let those things dominate your life to where you can't say no, or you go
mhm.
to them as a place of healing, because it's not. Like
Yeah.
the minute that it leaves your mouth, like the way it makes you feel, that's gone. But the
Mhm.
workout that you do, the way you feel when you walk out of the gym,
Yeah.
that lasts a lot longer. And I think anybody that's done it knows that, right? And
Mhm,
so not everybody has to be like a ripped looking bodybuilder or
mhm,
fitness chick or whatever it is that maybe get that people associate with going to the gym, or people who are like gym obsessed.
mhm,
And you don't have to do that. You can come into the gym 2 or 3 times a week, as long as you kind of work out hard and you have a
Mhm.
sensible diet and nutrition about you, you focus on keeping stress lower, sleeping well, kind of those core elements of like a healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're educated, and it's our job as a staff to help people with those things. And that's
Mhm.
a big part of what we do at GameFit. But I think, I've developed kind of a communication system to where I hope that I've become, pretty successful at helping people navigate those tough things,
Mhm.
especially around like nutrition or like not going to the gym, not establishing a routine. Like, how do we break those bad habits, or how do we, if you want to do this, why haven't
Mhm.
you been able to do it? And
Yeah.
let's have a conversation about it. And I have conversations with people about stuff like this every week.
Mm.
People are at my desk, or we're talking about why they can't get to the gym, or why they chose to eat a meal that they wish they wouldn't have, or
Mhm.
whatever, and like how they can maybe make a different decision in the future. So I think kind of the way that I've been able to do that for myself,
Mhm.
because I fought those battles too, man. Like in my
Yeah.
20s, I ate like I treated my body like a garbage disposal, and
Okay.
so I was able to kind of overcome a lot of that stuff, and to where I make better choices more often now, and I think
Mhm.
it's going to allow me to be healthier and hopefully live longer. If I'm lucky. So I
Mhm.
think, putting yourself in those situations, and kind of overcoming those obstacles mentally first
Mhm.
is a big part of this. And I think, that's something we can help people with.
Yeah. And if anybody is struggling with that, they can go right to Game Fit HQ
They
and
can
go talk to
just
you.
talk to me.
They
Yeah.
can
I don't
message
I don't
you.
charge a dollar for that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of course we know we sell training plans and nutrition plans and personal training and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
type of stuff. But no, and I've said this, very recently on my Instagram, like, if anybody who's a member of GameFit or otherwise, somebody just who may happen to watch this
Mhm.
wants to DM me and you have an issue, I will, talk to you, whether it's on the
Mhm.
phone, in person, if you want to come into GameFit, or through a direct message. Like, I will try to help you
Mhm.
and give you the tools that you need to get started. And because that's a passion, and that's like, at the end of the day, that type of stuff makes me better at all the
Mhm.
stuff that we do professionally. I think,
Absolutely.
having those conversations where it's not about making money, it's really just about like honing personal
Mhm.
skills, and maybe someone has a unique problem that I haven't encountered before, and hopefully I can come up with an answer on how to
Yeah.
make that better for them. So I think that's something that I want to do more of, and I hope that once Game Fit, kind of once things slow down from this expansion, that I can get more and back into the personal touch of, because that's what I
Mhm.
always wanted my role with the company to be. I obviously I have big dreams and goals about how I want Game Fit, the existing Game Fit HQ, to grow, and what I
Mhm.
want it to be, and what I want to do in the future with our meal prep service and the other things. But what I want my personal role to be also is, I want to have time to just like walk up to
Mhm.
Yogi maybe and just
Mhm.
talk to you about, hey brother, like, hey, you were talking to me last week about how you were struggling with this, and maybe I can throw
Mhm.
you a few pointers on some things that I've done to
Mhm.
maybe overcome those obstacles, or maybe we figure out, your path is totally different, and we come
Yeah,
up with
yeah.
a new plan for you. And that's that type of stuff, that human interaction, and that you can't get,
Mhm.
and really anywhere else. Maybe some other gyms are doing a little bit of that. I think there are
Mhm.
some great personal trainers, and some other places out there that are good. But I think, I can speak to what we're doing, and we're definitely
Mhm.
doing that. We're
Yeah.
offering that, whether it's Nick, Cassie, myself, Ari, like we're there to help you, and I will commit that to anybody who
And
needs
both of
it.
your guys' name is Nick. The
Yeah, my
two,
head trainer,
your
Nick.
head
Yep,
trainer's
head
Nick
trainer,
and your
Nick.
name's Nick.
So I thought about hiring like
Yeah.
a trainer named Nikki too. So I was just like, it's just
Yeah.
super easy. But at some
Yeah.
point, like, we can't just have
Yeah.
everybody saying Nick but yeah, no, like, I can't say enough about how much I
Yeah.
love our staff,
They're so
and how
good.
great they are. Like, they've been Nick's been with me from the start, and bringing Cassie and Ari on,
Mhm.
and the rest of our front desk girls, and like my mom helps out with the meal prep
Oh,
service. My
yeah.
sister helps out, with a lot of the stuff we do behind the scenes, like with
Yeah.
the content creation and stuff, and our kitchen staff, just great people. And so we have a really great staff, and
Yeah, yeah.
they're as much a part of this, as anybody. And so
And
I
it's
think we can
creating
all
this
help.
like family.
Yeah, no,
Like Game
absolutely.
Fit is becoming like a family
It is,
almost.
and the members are part of that too. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, like, people. The reason you come into Game Fit is, yes, the staff is cleaning, but so are the members. The members are
Mhm.
the members are keeping that culture alive, and they're a part of it too. And so,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where, you set the standard,
Yes, sir.
and then hopefully we all like understand why it's there and
Yeah.
appreciate it, and then we all continue it moving forward. I think that's a big part of what I want it to be.
Yeah. Do you mind putting out your personal Facebook? Do you have people follow your personal Facebook?
Yeah, so
Or-
I don't have a real big presence on Facebook. I know with
Okay.
like with
Like
with with
Instagram.
Meta kind of owning them
Okay.
both. I know some of our stuff is accessible. So we do have a GameFit HQ
Just
Facebook page
everything
and
game
obviously
fit.
the website, but mostly we use Instagram. That that's always been I think
It seems like that's what grows gyms.
for some reason
Instagram.
it kind of is
Yeah.
the bigger thing, and there's definitely other platforms. I definitely want to get more into like doing more YouTube shorts, and so like
Mhm.
that's kind of one of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes is setting up like an infrastructure like in an office area where I can actually do more education and content
Mhm.
creation to where I can do these things that we're
Yeah. Like
talking
this is
about,
cool. Yeah.
whether it's like breaking down like form on an exercise or how to use a machine to where that stuff is easily accessible. So we want to create a library. I'm working on it right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
to where we can create a library where there's just tons of stuff where I'm helping people, that they can just access it very easily on their
Mhm.
phone or on their laptop or whatever. So that's all coming. All that stuff is being done as we speak.
Wow.
Um, so so yeah, brother, that's a
It's
huge
a
part of
lot.
everything that we're doing.
You
Yeah,
got a
no,
lot.
it's hard.
So
It's hard to condense it all down in a couple
yeah.
things. There's so many things that we're working on that it's really it's not just hey we're adding group fitness or saunas. Like there's so many things that we're
So many
doing. I
layers
mean,
too.
and I didn't even talk to you about like my vision for what we're doing with the meal prep service and how we're going
Yeah.
to be moving these AI fridges around to different areas where these are going to be accessible around town too.
Oh
So like
wow.
that's a big part of the meal prep service that we're kind of working on right now is
Okay.
how do we make these things available for other people to get to around town, whether it's in like a business office or who knows where it could be in the future.
Let's
But
do something. When the gym opens in September, October, whatever, let's do another
I would love
episode
to.
in the gym.
Yes, I'd love to.
Like I'll bring this stuff.
Yeah,
It ain't nothing. I can just unplug it.
yeah,
We take it and we'll do this episode. We'll put it out there in the world. And then when the gym opens, like a little bit like after whatever, we'll sit down and we'll just do like an episode for the gym to open.
yeah.
You want to do
I
that?
would love to do that.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Let's do
brother.
that, man. Thank you so
All right,
much.
Yogi.
I like I got this vision like because I would love the machines to be there and
Me
stuff.
too.
And then
I
me
can
and you
see it.
just sit there and just talk about the new expansion and everything. And we'll just because like I'm a member of your gym, so I wanna help as much as I can. I appreciate you so much, man.
I
Thank you so
appreciate you too.
much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. So if you do want to message him, GameFit HQ on Instagram, he'll message you back. And if you want to go to the gym, reach out to him. Any trainer there will. And then also if you sign up, they give you a phone number and you can reach you at any time and ask him questions. Once you sign up, you have more access to him and the gym and everything else. We appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much. Remember to have faith, show love, give hope, let go, and let God. Thank you.
Yeah. Toledo. Game Fit on Yogi Show. Let's go. It's Nick T. They call him the game, Sicilian blood, meticulous frame from high school course to the asphalt grind. Now we built the headquarters, one of a kind, downtown Toledo. Brick and steel with the mud hands roar and the real ones feel. 24/7 doors never sleep. QR code scan, now the city's on feet. Infrared heat, red light glow, 60-foot turf where the athletes go. Meal prep fresh, no shortcuts, no lies. Elite machines under industrial skies. This is Game Fit HQ. Building bodies, building the view. Downtown rising, new generation. We're bringing the fire to the Glass City nation. Game Fit on Yogi Show. Feel the power, watch it grow. Push till it burns, then push some more. This is the headquarters. Open the door. Open the door. Old school iron meets brand new tech. Posing room lights, get that perfect flex. Content creators, tripod and free culture of respect. Clean as can be. Midlife strength, ladies take the floor. Group sessions hitting like never before. Saunas smoking, protein on tap when the nights get long. From Omi to Sylvania, they making the drive. 15 minutes to feel alive. Parking lot, membership tight, less than $2 a day for the fight of your life. This is Game Fit HQ. Building bodies, building the view. Downtown rising, new generation. We're bringing the fire to the Glass City nation. Game Fit on Yogi Show. Feel the power, watch it grow. Push till it burns, then push some more. This is the headquarters. Open the door. serving fluff, owner on the floor, cleaning the showers, locking the door. Bespoke train and every rep counts. This is the standard, this is the mount. 10,000 square, corner to claim. Game fit forever.